After 5 years, I'm dusting my entire Hearthstone collection. Jesus, I'm gonna have so much dust. This is gonna take all day. Let's say this is a protest. This is a protest against duels going away. At the end of the day, if it doesn't bring you joy, Marie Kondo that shit, you know? So this is gonna be a weird video. A lot of you may not have seen me before. My name's Chris George. I run a board game channel, Rumored Board. That's what you're on right now, but stick around because we're doing Hearthstone content today. And for all my board gamers, we'll stick around because we're talking about addiction, Twitch streaming, and why the 5 reasons you shouldn't back exists. And it's because of these tendencies in all of us. I'm really excited to do this. I'm really excited that I have the strength to do it right now. And I'm making this video because I hope it resonates with anybody who has an addictive personality like me. It is Hearthstone's 10th anniversary, which means I've been playing it for almost 5 years now. I got into it the summer of 2019 because somebody said, "Oh, you like board games and card games. Have you tried this very addictive thing?" And I said, "No, please give me all of it." And so I went down a rabbit hole. Let's switch over to my quests of the day. I just have one because I completed them last night. And the reason, let's go to the shop. Let's go back in time to the wild bundles and see where I started. Played through Alderac Valley, United in Stormwind, Forged in the Barrens, Dark Moon, Skullman's Ashes, Descent of Dragons, Doom, Rise of Shadows. I got in around Rastakhan's Rumble, the tail end of Rastakhan's Rumble, and into Rise of Shadows. Yeah, that expansion released December 4th, 2018, so the tail end, so in 2019, so it's been about 5 years. So I've been playing Hearthstone for half of Hearthstone's life cycle. You know what? Let's buy a pack of each for old time's sake, because we're gonna be dusting all of these anyway. Literally, I'm dusting my entire collection. So if you just want to see the pain and the memories as we work through, I think I was in Rise of Shadows and Saviors of Doom. I don't think I got anything in Rastakhan's Rumble, so I guess we'll see. Maybe we'll get some Legendaries, that exciting purchase, you know? Did I just buy Descent of Dragons? I think I did, but you know what? I kind of forget. My light fell, so I might as well buy another one. Let's get an Ashes of the Outlands as we go through this. And so a little bit more about my Hearthstone journey. In 2020, I'm an actor, for those of you who don't know. Let's rewind a bit. If you're new to the channel, I make board game content. I started that in 2021, but in 2020, all I did was play Hearthstone. It was the pandemic. I had lost all of my work, and I soothed myself by playing Hearthstone. But I'm also very cheap. So I really didn't spend that much money on Hearthstone. I really tried to go at it from the free-to-play angle. I think that's what hooks us in, or hooks a lot of people in Hearthstone. Is that idea that you can get all the cards for free, right? It has a leveling system. You have your daily quests to keep you coming back, to give you just little pieces of the game. And even if you pay a bunch of money, we're not buying the golden packs. Come on, we want to have the. We'll go on to standard, then we're on to standard. Oh, right, of course, because we have all of these other ones that are still in the standard rotation and haven't been rotated out yet, but are going to. That makes more sense. We'll get one of each. Let's go down memory lane. I like this idea. Because I really need to go full scorched earth if I want to be able to stop playing this game. And that's what I'm doing today. This is the last time I will open up Hearthstone. I'm getting rid of my ability to be a free-to-play infinite player. So I'm pretty decent at the game. I got pretty good at duels mode, but also you don't need to be 18 packs. Jesus, that's the amount of seasons. I guess 3 a year, right? We'll save this for the end. We're gonna save that for our big finale at the end. See, part of me wants to play one last game of Arena while I'm talking, so that there's some sort of visual aspect to it, but I don't know if that's going to be helpful to the conversation or just distracting. I apologize if I'm all over the place, but I think that's part of what is so unconsciously sinister about not just Hearthstone, but trading card games in general, and especially like digital trading card games, is they give you this distraction, they give you this hit, they give you this just one more game feeling, and they pull you in and they make you forget about all the other things that you wanted to do, or maybe that's just me. If any of this resonates, drop in the comments below, share your thoughts as well. Give this video a like so I can get to more people, and even if you're here just for Hearthstone, maybe consider subscribing to help me out in the board gaming YouTube journey. really flood the board game, you skew the board game YouTube metrics, be like, listen, you should have been doing Hearthstone this whole time, you stupid idiot. It's better for metrics, more people will watch. But also you might stick around and you might be able to find some fun board games and some things that you can play in a tactile experience that might help get you off of screens, because I find screens particularly addicting. So in 2020, all I did was play Hearthstone. That is all I did. I set up a Twitch account, which is now my room and board Twitch account, which I've now changed. But I had this whole idea of being a Hearthstone streamer, maybe in 2020, as I feel like anybody who gets into Hearthstone through Twitch and watches people like Kibler. I watched a lot of Kibler. I watched a lot of the tournaments that were happening, and I thought, wow, there's some money in this thing. Maybe that's the road that I'll go down before I got into board games. And so all through 2020, I played Hearthstone, and that's really not an exaggeration. I didn't have any work. I was home by myself, and I was deluding myself. I was pretending that I was going to go into the Hearthstone streaming world. And I ended up going to the board gaming YouTube world. So at least I can justify that I learned a little bit along the way. But the intention was always to go in the Hearthstone streaming world, or that was what I was telling myself. Really, I was playing Hearthstone from morning till night because I thought it was a challenge. I found it was a challenge to unlock every single card. So for those of you who don't know, and I haven't unlocked every single card, but I've come pretty decently close. I just got rid of a lot of my decks yesterday. I was playing the Sludge Warlock, and I was seeing which of the latest expansion decks I should craft. I had gone through and I had dusted I've dusted my golden legendaries already because I was low on dust, having taken a break. Let's go to wild cards, I guess. And so there was this aspect of the challenge. There's an aspect to, okay, if I play long enough, I can beat the system. This was back before Hearthstone had this sort of robust, a little bit more robust, which I was angry about when I started, when it switched over, and then I think it's pretty much better because it front loads the rewards, etc. But every 3 games, you would get 50 gold. Does everybody remember that? Every 3 games? For every 3 games you won, you would get 50 gold. So it really encouraged decks that played quickly, encouraged decks that just went face, which just like smashed the opponent in the face over and over again. Those are the things that it did encourage. And so I played a lot of that. I reached Legend pretty much every month. But more interestingly, or at least for me, is that I played in the arena mode. Arena gives you a chance, you know what, let's just retire this. Oh, it's a good deck. I could go probably 12 with this, but you know what, we're going Scorched Earth. We're retiring this. We're retiring it, which is unfortunate. But just, I'm retiring it for, even though I know I'm going Scorched Earth, I am sad for the deck that I could have had. Arena is a mode that you play. You draft a deck. So you don't need to own the cards. You just need 150 gold, which is the in-game currency, and you draft a deck to try to get rewards. And the better your deck does, the better rewards that you get. So a deck will normally cost you 100 gold, as we saw as I was purchasing all those things. Apologies for the over-explanation, but I'm doing this for my board game crew as well, Hearthstone people. But it's a format where you can pay 150 gold, and then you get to pick a random class out of the 3. Let's go Mage, because that's always a good one. And you will get to draft a deck of 30 cards. And it's fun. It's a fun mode. You know, we're not even going to draft it right now. It's a fun mode because I'm getting way too distracted. And I'm not playing anymore. But it's a fun mode because, at least for free-to-play players, because it rewards people who are good at the game. And then they introduce duels, which they're getting rid of in April. So very soon. And again, this is what I was playing last night. When you get to 7, you can build a smaller deck and you get to improve that deck over the course of runs, and you get a bunch of different like wacky abilities as well. So if you get to 7 wins, you're guaranteed to get your 150 gold back and a pack. So basically, if you're good enough, you can play this game infinitely, continually unlocking packs so that you can unlock, see, 150 gold, exactly, some extra dust, and a pack of cards. So you can continually unlock all of the legendaries that exist in the game. And so for every expansion that they give you, and we saw that advertisement for the expansion pack, it would cost me $100 Canadian to get 80 packs of cards. And in those 80 packs of cards, you probably would get 4 legendaries. And then you would have to either craft or unlock throughout the season the other 16. There are on average 20 legendaries. And then I also would save up my gold for the mini set that happens, which I don't know if you can still purchase right now. Yeah, the mini set that happens, which guarantees you sort of 4 legendaries that come out. And this is a reason why I need to go Scorched Earth, because even looking at this game, I am filled with regret. I'm filled with regret of the possibilities that I won't craft and the decks that I won't make. But I realize this is bad for my productivity and bad for my own health. If that entire year of playing wasn't evidence enough. And so then I got on the board game YouTube sphere. I kind of died down a little bit. I scaled it back in Hearthstone, but still it would pull me back in, and I would find myself spending hours and sometimes days playing this game, grinding out decks just for the haptic feedback of when you pull something out, right? They make it exciting to open packs. They make it exciting that you might get a legendary, right? You get an escalating amount. They make it exciting for you to unlock all of these cards and for them to go in your deck. And they make it easy to dust anything that you don't have extra as well. So over the past 5 years, I don't know how many hours I have sunk into this game, and I have tried to quit numerous times. I have deleted the game from my computer, and I've waited 3 months, and then I've reinstalled the game so that I get that free pack, so that at least I know I'm making up the ground that I missed by not in it. Even when I was not playing it, it was always sort of this feeling in the back of my mind, this idea that I could return to this thing. And I think we just got to start doing it. We got to start pulling the bandage off. And not all of it was bad, right? Like, not all of it was a horrible experience. I was playing it because I enjoyed it. I like this game, but I like it a bit too much, and it takes away time from me being able to do other things with my life and with my time. And I'm at a point where see, some of these are uncraftable because they give you a standard set of cards, right? Like, they make it so that you can somewhat play the game if you haven't unlocked any other packs. But generally, if you ever want to be competitive, like, you're not going to be able to win without legendaries in your deck. The legendary cards are so integral to building the deck and to playing the deck that if you don't have any, you might as well not even be doing it. But I kept coming back in a way that I know that this is literally the only way that I have a chance of not reinstalling it. I still might, you know, I still might fall prey to that feeling of addiction because I know I'm going to know I have so much dust left. I mean, maybe the way is just to craft a bunch of legendaries and then dust those legendaries as well to make sure that I can never go back. But I'm very happy with this decision because this is a game that's designed to be addicting. Like, everything that's happening on the screen right now is designed to give you that, like, little hit of dopamine. These are carefully constructed things, and they're carefully designed to keep you purchasing a game for $100 Canadian, like $80, to purchase a partial game for $100 Canadian every 3 months, right? Like, this is a game that wants you to spend $500 to $1,000 on it, just if you have that completionist mentality. And I know a lot of people in the board gaming space have that completionist mentality. That's kind of where this conversation draws in. So for those of you who are still here from the Hearthstone crowd and are watching me just rip through my entire collection, which hopefully is cathartic for you, I have this series on this channel called The 5 Reasons You Shouldn't Back. And whenever a game reaches over $1 million on Kickstarter or GameFound or whatever board game crowdfunding campaign, I'll try to put out the devil's advocate style of video just to talk myself out of it and to hopefully talk people out who are on the ledge and who are feeling the pull of the marketing and aren't actually feeling the pull of the main game. Jeez, this is going to take a long time because this is just This is just Death Knight, and Death Knight was the latest class added into the game. Oh, that's okay. Well, I'm glad I'm making the decision to disenchant and talk while I'm doing it, because it'll lessen the sting. Oh yeah, I remember I crafted this for duels. Getting rid of it now. Where was I? Oh yeah, 5 reasons you shouldn't back. Because a lot of us have that idea of a completionist mentality inside us, right? The idea that games are not playable unless we have everything for them. And that's a bit silly, but trading card games and collectible card games prey upon that like nobody else. Oh yeah, multi-use. And the fact that like every year we're about to rotate new core sets, which is good because then it gives people different cards to play with, right? Gives people who are free to play a chance to access some of these other cards. I appreciate that. But this like really hurts me. It hurts me to hit the when I get to any epics and when I get to any legendaries, because I know how much time I've invested in grinding to get these things. And I know how once I was so, I'm always so stingy with resources, right? So I like wait it out and I try to grind until I get that one legendary explosion of excitement after an arena run, and that just encourages me to create another arena run. And I always thought I was being clever by immediately creating another arena run, because if they ever do any like updates or turnover, you get that, yeah, goodbye Primus, goodbye climactic necrotic explosion, goodbye Chained Guardian, I never knew you. Well, I knew you a bit. Here are all the cards I couldn't disenchant from Death Knight. This video may need to be sped up a little bit. And even seeing the amount of dust that I'm going to have at the end of this is making me realize that I'm probably going to have to craft some legendaries and then get rid of those legendaries as well to make sure that I just can't go back. But I think I think a lot of us have that tendency inside of us that you have to have everything to play a game. And if you don't, you're garbage. And honestly, with Hearthstone, you kind of do need to have everything to play the game if you want to play it at a competitive level. And it encourages you to try to get to that competitive level by esports, right? There you see these tournaments on Twitch that only a select few are invited to, where the winner will win $10,000. And I'm sure some people have spent that much on this game and it might mean nothing to them, but that's like a lot of money. And so it's always that sort of goal of like, yeah, if I'm free to play, I can craft the best decks. I can get to that level. I can go competitive, and I need a variety of decks. And you also want a variety of decks because it kind of gets boring by just playing the same deck over and over again. It really does. There's 11 classes in the game, and that's 11 different decks, usually 2 to 3 different compositions that you can play around with. And Jesus, I'm gonna have so much dust. That's just beyond. Because I've also been hoarding on to any of the wild stuff as well, because I think I never know what works well in duels, and usually I'll craft stuff for duels, but duels is being removed now, so let's say this is a protest. This is a protest against duels going away. But yeah, I'm describing my journey not to sort of emphasize the hold that this game has had on me and has been able to have on me. And I've recognized that in myself, and I've still have been unable to get out of it. And I'm going to let myself a little bit off the hook here because, oh yeah, I remember when I got Lady Sethino. I crafted Lady Sethino. There was a huge, awesome Demon Hunter deck where before Lady Sethino got nerfed, this was a 2/4, and you could just slam away. Or in duels, you could buff up your Sethino in your hand until it was like 18 or 20, and then just drop it and play a bunch of zero-cost spells so that you'd smash everything together. There were a lot of fun combos that you could make in this game, but that's the thing about the game too, is that when people break it, or when people come up with combos that are fun and are game-breaking, they also try to nerf everything and adjust everything so that every deck has approximately a 50% win rate. And so even knowing that on the back end, that the developers are working and controlling and tweaking to make you lose 50% of the time, that kind of creates an additional challenge, right? You're like, okay, well, what if I can get to 40%, to 60% of the time? What if I can get to 70% of the time, right? Like top players can do it, I can do it. This Fan the Hammer was really good in my latest duels run. You just load that up in buckets for your duels runs, and then get a couple of Jace Darkweavers and just, slam the crap out of your opponents over and over. This right here is they started introducing diamond cards. So when golden cards became not as impressive, or everybody got golden cards, then Hearthstone had to up the level of addiction. They had to up the level of collectorship, and they had to give you these diamond cards. I've only ever drawn one from a pack, and the disenchant value basically is 1600, which is the crafting value for any basic legendary. So it's a very exciting draw. It's like a really rare draw to get one of these that pop out. And sometimes they don't even work in decks, Sometimes the legendaries suck and they're just there as like legendary bloat, and they don't actually work in competitive play or work in any real deck construction aspect, but they throw them in there anyway, just so that you have more to search for, that you don't have, that you can't unlock everything without significant time investment. And I have unlocked everything. When I was playing for that year, I unlocked everything. I unlocked every single legendary card, and I did it without paying a cent. I paid for one heroic Brawlesium because I thought, oh, I can get a whole shitload of rewards because I'm so good at this game. And then that was when Turtle Mage was around, if any of you Hearthstone players remember that. I was like, man, Turtle Mage is broken. I'm just going to go and do Turtle Mage all up in this Brawlesium, and then I didn't get very far at all. So I paid $10 and I got a pack out of it. That's the only money that I ever spent on this game, and that makes it a little easier to go Scorched Earth, right? I know that there are people out there who have spent so much money on this game, and doing this probably is hurting your soul. I crafted this for duels as well, because there was a really good, and then it was broken in duels. They never patched it, so that it didn't actually work in duels. So I crafted that for no reason. But I know that there are a lot of people out there who have spent so much money on this game, but there's this huge like sunk cost fallacy that they try to give you ways to make you feel like you should hold on to your investment, right? And even just me calling it an investment, it's not an investment. It's a temporary monetary transaction. This was a very exciting buff for Zillag of the Abyss, because these also used to only be 1 and deal 1 damage, and then they got buffed to being 1/2s and dealing 2 damage. It was a game changer at one point, but now it's gone. But yeah, so we're talking about, this was a fun build for getting all the relics in there. All of these legendaries, again, are so integral to that deck construction. And it may feel like you've invested so much money into these things, because I certainly have invested so much time. And that's why I just deleted the game, right? I didn't do this Scorched Earth thing because I thought I was better than it. I thought that I had a handle on it, and I thought, you know what? I can enjoy this in moderation, and sometimes you just can't enjoy things in moderation, or maybe you can. Maybe you're better than me. You probably are better than me. if we're being realistic. Wow, there must be a way. There must be a way to. Don't think there's a way. I think it makes it very hard to do this thing, and I'm going to be at this for a lot longer than I expected, but it is cathartic to do. But for those of you who have spent $200, $300 on this game, $500, $600. Like, if you've been playing it, if I bought a pack, if I bought just the base set to give me a base set of each expansion, I would have spent $1,800 on this game. Like, that's an absurd amount. That's an insane amount. For $1,800, you can buy yourself a PS5, get yourself Marvel Spider-Man, which is friggin' bomb, and a whole just shitload of games, right? This video was longer than I expected it to, and it's probably too rambly, but I appreciate you all staying with me and hanging out as I get rid of my addiction, and that sort of amount of investment is hard to combat. It's hard to combat, and it's easier to give into, right? It's a lot easier to say, okay, well, I'm already in. I'm already in. I can't give up all this money that I've spent. But I would hazard, hopefully, to look at it in a different way. That, and this is the way that I'm trying to look at it. You know, I don't really regret the amount of time that I've spent on this game. I've used it to numb when I was having mental health days that weren't as good. I've used it to forget about my problems. And there've been, like, I wouldn't have played it if it was just addicting and it wasn't a good game. I wouldn't have played it for as long as I have. Right? There's a lot of merit to it. There's a fun meta game you can get when you're at the level of knowing everybody else's deck completely, and that's what you need to get in order to play well, where you know the type of deck instantly that the opponent is playing because of the first card that they play, right? You just know the general deck constructions of everything else, and then you can tailor your deck in remembering that and keeping track of the cards that they have. See, I had Kiri Chosen of Elune, but now it's a standard one, and I can't dust it, I guess. This also shows you how much friggin' dust you can get. So for those of you who are playing Hearthstone and you don't like a specific character, like you just don't like playing Demon Hunter, just dust the whole thing. Oh, I'm hitting the point where I'm losing things from my existing decks. Yeah, that's a key one for playing duels right now. But again, duels will be dead in 2 months. But I would encourage you to think about this as you invested. Yeah, never use this one. This is one of those things where this was one of those that looked cool, but never really saw any competitive play. But I would encourage you to think about these as money spent. You spent the money, you enjoyed it for the amount of time that you did it, and if it's no longer giving you that enjoyment, and if it is actively taking away from enjoying other things in your life, like I was supposed to film a video last night, and instead I thought, you know what, I'll just play a couple rounds of Hearthstone, and that turned into 5 hours. And I don't have time for that right now. I don't have time for that anymore. I'm too stretched for time in between 3 jobs that I don't have time. If I'm going to take a break, I need it to be a break, and I need for me to control the break instead of it controlling me. And I think that's a real, the salient point, I guess, after an hour of rambling, that, and we're only on Druid. Jesus, I gotta get through this. I mean, I am getting rid of 5 years worth of a collection here, right? But if you are no longer controlling your enjoyment of the game, and the game is controlling you, then it's time to stop. And this is also something where I know there will be people out there like me. Yeah, never used you. This was a garbage one. But it took up oh yeah, I crafted that for duels. This one was pretty good. I know there will be people out there, because I am you. Whenever I was told that, like, hey, you got to stop this, you're not in control. I said, of course I'm in control, right? And that's how I know it was like a real potential addiction for me, because I have said the words, I can stop when I want to. And hey, I'm managing to get there, but I wanted to stop a year ago, and so I really understand and respect that this sort of thing will be hard and might be triggering for some people who have invested the amount that I have as well into the game. But ultimately, I'm really happy with my decision to do this right now, and it's feeling like such a relief, because I know I won't have the option of it consuming my time, and I know I'll get to spend my time on something that I will have more fun in. And that's the thing, like, even though Hearthstone is fun, it's fun in in a way that talkies are good, in a way that, like, you hate yourself for it, but it's fun in that way. And I'd rather spend my time, like, playing a video game that I'm really excited about. I'd rather spend my time organizing a board game night, right? Like, last night I was planning on filming, and so I didn't make other plans. And instead, I got sucked into this thing and didn't even film and didn't even complete my work. So the experiences that I could have been having with other people and with my friends didn't exist, because I should have been doing work, And instead I didn't, and now I'm once again behind, right? So I get it. I get anyone who's unable to do this. I get anyone who's like, you know what, I can stop. I'll just delete it off my computer. And if that works for you, that's great. If knowing that it's there doesn't bother you. But for me, like I had a mental timer in my head when I deleted it. I said, you know what, okay, I'm gonna delete it, and then I can always re-download it in 3 months and get their welcome back players pack. And so even when I wasn't playing the game, it was controlling me. This was a fun, again, Demon Hunter build. You had this, oh no, the Hunter build, this was Hunter. This is a great card for Face Hunter, especially in duels. Anyway, I think that's it. We're just gonna go down memory lane here. Like, the main salient point of this video is you're not alone. These things are designed to be addicting. And if you feel yourself like going down that rabbit hole or spending more than you should be spending, or whether that's money or time or both, I recognize that, and I too have been in those sort of throes. And that's why for like my board game crew who's still here listening and watching this thing, like the amount of dust that I have right now is blowing my friggin' mind. It's an insane amount. It shows you the hoarding tendencies that I've been doing over the past 5 years, because I haven't dusted any cards as they've cycled away into rotation because they gave me a reason not to. With duels, they're always like, you know what, these cards might exist, right? These wild is a real thing. You never know when you want to play it. You better just hold on to it and keep grinding and keep buying packs so that you just have more and more and more. You want to make sure that you have these options. And I fell for it. And I'd like to think that I didn't fall for it, but I absolutely did. And oh friggin' yeah, I crafted Dragonbane and now it's a standard set. So I'll have to, no, I won't have to. Even that's my thinking. I'm like, you know what? Well, I'll have to go back. I'll have to go back once it switches over in the 10th anniversary. Oh, I never got to play with Hearthstone Brew. I really wanted to use Hearthstone Brew in duels, but it just isn't allowed in duels for some reason. Probably because everybody would have it in duels, but it just feels like that's the only place where that would actually be a fun use of that card. I feel like this video is going to appeal to nobody, you know? I think Hearthstone players have tuned out long ago and have moved on to their next haptic feedback, or maybe you're still here and seeing the numbers tick up over and over. I should do a recap at the end, because people will probably skip to the end to see the number that's been created. And I think I made that for duels. That was a good investment. That was a fun build. Don't think I ever really played with that Titan because Hunter's slow enough that like the high value cards don't see a lot of play. Would it be more exciting to go through my legendaries? We're gonna have a pause now that we've killed our Hunter. We're gonna go through legendary and see who we have. Oh, the Hydrolodon, of course, you gotta go. Because here these are the standard legendaries that you get. And then here are all my legendaries. I've got a couple pages in each class, I guess. So I've already dusted a few. And then of course there's all these legendaries as well. Oh, am I back to standard? No, I want to be in wild. Oh no. Oh, I got so much more that I gotta get rid of. Oh, I don't know how I got back to standard. Oh man. Okay, this is probably too much. We're gonna have to time lapse this sort of stuff. This is gonna take all day. Oh no, yeah, I wondered why my legendaries seemed so small. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. This makes a lot more sense as we look through the pages and pages of, oh, that's stuff that I've already dusted as well. All of these, each one of these cards that I'm going through represents probably 20 packs. If you're playing an arena run or a duels run, each game will take you 10 to 15 minutes. So to get to seven wins, which is my average. Sometimes I go 12, sometimes I go 1. I remember getting Cthulhu the Shattered. Yeah, this is a real trip down memory lane. Oh, geez. I have so many cards. I was just in standard, and I still have to dust all of wild. This is 5 years worth. How can I do a mass disenchant Hearthstone? Let me end this sorrow for myself. All right, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. 8 more. Wow. There's really no turning back now. Jeez, keep it going. Oh, I had a lot of fun with this. This is a good quest. That was a really good quest. You could smash the crap out of people in duels. That was a good one. This might have been one of the first legendaries that I got. So it would have been Saviors of Old Doom. That's when I came in. I just missed Rise to Shadows. That's what it was. Goodbye. That was a fun one too. Oh yeah, being able to choose your mission. Guff, never really used Guff that much. Had Kiri. Speaker Gidra was good in duels, and actually, Grey Bow is not in the comments. Grey Bow is one of the best, still consistently one of the best Druid legendaries out there. Not for me. I'm only through Biosera. I remember getting that one. That was exciting. I'm through 3 classes, and I'm at 44,000 dust. We're gonna be here a while. So let's go through memory lane. This is gonna be a big video. Let's go down memory lane. There's so many. I was just doing standard. But we have to go Scorched Earth. There's no turning back. I don't know if I'll be able to get rid of this dust, though. Like, even though I'm going Scorched Earth, I might just hold on to it in case I come back. And I don't want to come back. Like, the whole point of this is not coming back. The whole point of this is make it so you don't come back so that you spend your time doing more fun things. Like, there are better things to do with your time than play this game. Anyway, if you're just able to log on and do your daily quests and leave, great. I'm very happy for you. Thrilled. You can keep the game. Anybody else? Well, if you can't do that, not if you don't want to do that, but if you can't do that. And I think there's a very distinct difference, because I would have told myself, well, it's just I don't want to. I just want to keep playing. I just want to have fun, right? But I think I like physically couldn't stop from doing that. I remember Arbor Up. This is a real trip though, because going through all these cards, I remember all the different decks that I've created over the years. Like, I remember when Fly Swarm was a real thing, when it was Treant Druid, like Spell Druid. I played a lot of that. Wow, Starfall is even a disenchant that's not in the standard anymore, eh? I remember Teacher's Pet and Twilight Runner, that being Beast Druid was really good, when you could pull both of those out and then drop a broom down so that they could have Rush, right? Like, I obviously know this game incredibly intimately, and I don't feel like I do, because of how vast the spanse of it can be, really. I'm gonna get over 200,000, I think. This is wild. I really did not. I expected this to be like my final total of dust. Really, I like, even though I knew I had been playing for a while and I had a lot of cards, I expected this to be like my final total, and the fact that it isn't is a bit scary. Like, if you go through your set and dust it all, the amount of dust that you'll have is absolutely insane. And it will be enough to build any sort of standard deck that you want to return to with, you know? Even still, this makes me want to stay with the game. I'm like, you know what? I got so much investment in here. I've got so much dust in here that I could do anything. Yeah, that card was integral to the Spell Druid, because you just didn't put any minions in your deck, and then you were fine to just slam that one over and over. Anyway, I think we're done with the addiction talk. Like, I want to just hammer home to those of you who are still watching and are still going through that I told myself that I could stop anytime I wanted to, and I consistently found myself and my time slipping away in ways that I did not want, or that I was not expecting. And some days it would be successful, you know, I'd play for a couple hours, I'd have fun, I'd make some progress in an arena run, and it'd be great, and then I'd come back. But like, just the amount of time you have to sink into this game to stay competitive is by design, so that you just spend money on it instead. Really. This is for all those free-to-play players out there who think that they can cheat the system. You can't. This is how you cheat the system, okay? This is how you get rid of it all. Even this is taking up too much time. Like, I thought this video would be done by now and I could record some more stuff, but I think it's important. Or maybe I'll come back to it later. Maybe whenever I want to play Hearthstone, I'll come back to it and record this and just dust more stuff, and then we can have a compilation video. That might be it. Oh, you know what? I need to open the packs now. I need to buy and open the packs now because then I'm gonna have to go through and dust them. This way I can just disenchant the duplicates and not have to worry about it. All right, so let's go back in time with the with opening packs from each era. This is the current era, Showdown in the Badlands, before we get on to Whiz Bangs, whatever. Showdown in the Badlands was kind of fun, but the highlights for me were the Reno Lone Ranger. It added back in that Highlander idea of decks. So that was cool. I've now forgotten the titles of all these packs, but we'll see. You miserable so-and-so. This is so rude. Oh, this is so rude. This is so rude. I don't want more legendaries. This is the rudest thing. We've got our Demon Hunter Titan. That's so rude. And of course it's Demon Hunter 2. Ugh. So that was the Titans expansion. Titans were fun. It really made your legendaries feel useful. Festival of Legends, I remember really enjoying. God, stop it. Getting like the Abyssal Warlock. I remember playing Warlock in this one. That was pretty fun. This was Fractured and Alderac, where everybody got Drekthar and Stormpike. They got added to duels as well. It's a little selection of them. The concoctions for Rogue were in that one. Okay. Murder at Castle Nathria. I wasn't like that huge about this one, especially because everybody started playing Renathal, and it just made the games longer, which made grinding even harder. This was Voyage to the Sunken City. Oh, we can go in the other order. Oh well, we're doing it this way now. Or maybe it feels like Titans were added in that one. This is just a standard pack. Like, this is so rude. I can't. It's like it's like the game knows what I'm doing, you know? That's one that is in a rogue deck that I wanted to try. Oh no. This is so rude. Maybe this one was Fractured and Alderac, I don't know. Of course we're seeing a lot of Demon Hunter things pop up because it has duplicate protection, so now it's going to give me things for Demon Hunter that I've already gone through and dusted. This is United in Stormwind. So this is where the quests were, I think. They all do kind of blend together at a certain point. Darkmoon Faire! Oh, Darkmoon Faire was the one that I was thinking of, where you, with Ticketus, as Ticketus Warlock, where you can just like destroy the other Warlocks, the other player's deck. You just rip the top cards off of them. That was pretty fun. And it had a really good control priest in that era. Was this Dragons? Might have been Dragons. Oh wow. Well, Pyrotoxin Blade was way back then. That was a good one for Rogue, but buffing up Rogue's attack. I prefer playing control in these sorts of games. Ashes of the Outland, this is when Demon Hunter was added. So that was fun. This was Drakon. This was the dragon one. I shouldn't be getting legendaries in here because I think I have all the legendaries from that one. Galakron, that's what I'm thinking about. The fact that I got 2 legendaries here is just like atrocious. This is Savers in Uldum. I'm pretty sure this is what I started with. This is like my classic Hearthstone, destroying everything. Rise of Shadows, I got in on the tail end of Rise of Shadows. So I imagine, you know what? Let's buy some Rise of Shadows. Let's buy some Rakitan's Rumble. Let's go back in time because you're kind of guaranteed in the first 5 decks that you get. Yeah, I remember. I have like a few of those cards. But yeah, Rastakhan Hunter Collection Tier 1. So it shows you the sort of, oh, I can just look at my, yeah, so I didn't start with Rastakhan. In my collection, we can kind of see. I have 15 Showdown Legendary, Showdown 15 Titans, Festival of Legends. This was my last year, right? 15, average 15, 10, and then I had 18 of the Legendaries of Sunken City. I had all 29 of Fractured and Alderac. I have the entire collection of Fractured and Alderac. United in Stormwind, I don't think I got the mini set there. So I had pretty much everything. Forged in the Barrens, yeah, I had pretty much everything. Madness at the Darkmoon Faire, I had pretty much everything. You can see the difference in the collections when I was playing like heavily. Skullman's Academy, oh, I guess I dropped out there. Ashes of the Outland. Descent of Dragons, that was that. 16 out of 21 legendaries. 8 out of 12 legendaries. So yeah, not a lot of legendaries from Savers of Uldum because that's where I started in. And then Rise of Shadows, it was the tail end, yeah. So let's go wild. Let's buy the Boomsday Project. We'll buy 5 packs of you. So that should get me a legendary of Boomsday. And then the Witchwood, sure. Let's buy 5 packs of you. And then let's keep on going down. You know what, year 1, year 2. Let's go with Goblins versus Gnomes. Let's see what that was all about. And the Grand Tournament. Yeah, let's do that one. See if we get a legendary out of that one. And then finally, let's go Whispers to the Old Gods as our last one. This 0 bar is important. It's important to do because if there's any way that I could go back, don't want these rewards. This is Boomsday where you get a lot of magnetic stuff, which I never really invested that much into unless I was crafting stuff for duels. That was the only other old mode that I used. Security Rover popped up a lot, the version of it in Battlegrounds. This video is much larger than I expected it to be. But hey, if you're still here, if you're like, again, if you're a Hearthstone player, there's a lot of really great... So is it 10? Is it you're guaranteed a legendary in 10? Because I didn't get a legendary there. I thought it was 5. I really thought it was 5. But I guess it isn't. I guess we're not getting a legendary. I wanted to see one from each of the sets, but I guess we're not doing that. Maybe they didn't have legendaries back then. I don't know. I wasn't around back then. I've only been playing for 5 years like a chump. Like, even the collector's mentality in me is like, oh yeah, there's all these cards that like I never used, I never saw, because they like it's a whole brand new thing. But I've seen them all pretty much as I've played through the game. Yeah, I guess we're just not getting legendaries. Sorry, that was a gross opening. The Grand Tournament. Okay, so it's when you added in that. That's a huge card for Shaman, and everything else. Like way back in the day, these cards are really bad. They're really bad because there has to be power creep in Hearthstone, right? Like things have to get more and more involved, more random number generator. That used to be good in Battlegrounds when I, in Arena when I first started. That was like a really good pick. This is a key priest card because it gives you that additional healing. That makes sense. That's a good addition. But there has to be that level of power creep as you go through it all. Oh, here's Boomsday. This must be Boomsday. Or this is goblins and gnomes and kobolds. I don't know. But they all sort of, gnomes versus goblins. Here we go. There's a legendary. Gazrilla. That's unfortunate. But so significantly less strong than things that are in modern Hearthstone right now. Goblins and gnomes. There we go. We can cross that off our list. This is just wild. See, there we go. Then we can disenchant these extra cards. See, there we go. Then we can disenchant these extra cards. All right. So I've deliberately... So you might have been wondering to yourself, why were all those packs silent? I deliberately took out the audio because and now I'm bringing it back in. I wanted the majority, I wanted that full discussion to be without distractions. Now we're just going to go through the decks and maybe reminisce over the past 5 years of Hearthstone, if you like that sort of thing. But I want to flag this as another sort of trigger, right? I wanted to leave out all of those synaptic, instant feedback feelings, because again, like for me, when I'm watching someone and I hear the whoa of the packs being made, which I don't think I can even get you a pack because I should have. Yeah, I'm out. I'm out of money. Oh, I can get you one more pack. Okay, great. So we're just going to go through. We're going to draft this. I mean, should we draft it just for old time's sake? So here I would be picking, I picked Talon Blood Watcher, and I basically want card draw. I want excavate in the current duels meta, and I want to get things that chain together. So there's a lot of elementals in mages right now, but it's better to always get things that give you more stuff, right? I'm not doing this seriously. I already know. And I'm going through way too quickly. I mean, you want board clear, you want discovery. Blizzard's always a great board clear. And you want to go for an elemental play if you can. More spells. Blizzard's still just so good. Excavate is good, although I haven't been paying attention to Excavate. Yeah, I liked the Double Dragon. We don't have any secrets, so that was a stupid one. Sunset Volley is always a pick. Sure. This is a really bad deck. Discover Smell. Like I'm getting kind of bad draws, but I'm also like, but because I've been doing it so quickly, this is a really bad deck. I would not. Yeah, we'll go more elementals. We'll try to do that. I don't know why they don't say destroy a minion, because everything else is anyway. We'll discover people, and then you finally get this last thing, which we'll draw. God, that was bad. But so I'm gonna retire. I'm retiring. I'm gonna play my run. You know what? I should have played and then I should have forfeited, because that's always nice when that happens. You help other people. This retire button only serves the game and not you. Right? You hear those sounds. It's those sounds that keep you coming back. And when you open these packs, watch, I'm gonna get another legendary. Although I did just get one last night. I got an elemental shaman one, so I doubt I'll get another one. Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? This is this feels targeted. This feels so targeted. Oh my god. This game is awful. All right, because we did we do wild for, I think we did wild for Demon Hunter. I think we're okay. I mean Death Knight. I think we're okay. Yeah, we must have started in wild here and then I left for some reason. That was so rude. That was so rude. Oh, I guess I didn't finish my Demon Hunter. I just killed all the... Wow, that was rude. Let's get over to Thillardin. Oh, right, because I'm going to have to disenchant all of the extra stuff anyway, because I got it from packs that I didn't ever have. Oh, I hadn't been on to Hunter yet. Okay, so I hadn't been on to Hunter. But I just want to look at that friggin' card that it just gave me. Was it a 4th, Thillardin? Theldurin the Lost. That's so rude. Yeah, let's crowd. This is what he looks like regularly. And then I just spent 1,600 on it. Now I can disenchant it for 400. That's what he looks like regularly. That was so rude. I can't even believe that. I can't believe that just happened. God. This game, it has to be by design, right? It has to be by design to keep you coming back, to give you that hit. On my zero, I had $0. It was my last pack that I could ever make. And I was like, you know what? You get a diamond legendary. You get a thing that like you should feel really good about. Wow. All right, we're gonna time jump through some of this. I don't know why I am surprised. I mean, I guess it is 5 years. Blood Herald was fun back in duels. I just like, I can't even. Need for Greed. It's Hearthstone in a nutshell. Like, even doing this though is really surprisingly satisfying. Fucking Argus. Goddamn Argus. Like, come on. Skull of Gul'dan was huge back in the day. I have used most of these cards at one time or the other. No, that's not true. I didn't use Fell Summoner. Cycle of Hate was good though. That was a great board clear. Expendable Performers was really good. Comboed in duels way back when. Priestess of Fury was like the arena pick to get. And Coilfang Warlord, yeah, that was a good Demon Hunter build, especially with the Illidari Inquisitor. Like, just being able to one-turn kill your opponents, that was pretty huge. So we're still on Druid. Jeez. I remember Embiggen was a good card. I remember being pretty stoked when I got the golden version of that. It's like I'm going through the stages of grief here, too. It's like there's a deep sadness at how much time I've spent on this game. Like, the amount of time I could have been spending on other things is absolutely wild. I mean, to be fair, in my first year, my first like huge year down the rabbit hole, which was during COVID, I didn't have anything to do. It was a good numbing thing. I listened and watched a lot of board game YouTube while I was doing it. This is really, it feels like a monumental task to get through. But getting rid of all that gold is really good. because again, I would hold on to gold. Like I had 10,000 gold at one point, and I've been over the last year not hoarding it, spending it and trying to spend it and trying just to have like fun dual builds and not worry about it because I can use my cash of stuff and then spending it on the mini sets as well. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job at using it, even though it's hard to get out of that sort of free to play mentality, that hoarders mentality. Oh yeah, see, when I saw two of these, I thought it was a standard one, but I guess it's not. All right, let's just do a time jump. Just the sheer weight of it all. And there's so many times where like I thought I was so clever that I would dust the ones that had just been nerfed so that I could, when I opened a pack, I would get them again and I could capitalize on that arcane dust, right? Forgot I had a golden one of that one. I used that one a lot. That was a good quest. Oh yeah, this was a really good card. The first time your hero power as a hunter could do 2 damage to minions and we have some like control. You know what, I'm gonna save the legendaries until last. That's what I'm gonna do. And we're gonna do all the legendaries at once last. I liked this side quest as well. I like this little leopard gnome. That was great for Face Hunter. Yeah, Sabers of Uldum. I remember getting this one. Going through those quests. I just said you were gonna do the legendaries last, and then just do those, you stupid idiot. Okay, we're really gonna do the legendaries last now. Dragon Hunter, yeah. Dragon Hunter was fun. Like I'm actually getting sad, not for getting rid of these cards, but that it took me so long to do this. And that I could have, I don't know, I could have been playing so many other more fun games that I just haven't had time for. Or told myself I didn't have the time for, right? I think that's very different. That's a great hunter card still. Oh yeah, I remember getting Zixor. That was an exciting one to get because that was meta. It was always very exciting to get something that was in the current meta because, like, you know, 50% of the legendaries aren't usable, but then you keep them anyway because they might get buffed. This is good though. I need to be incapable of playing. Or, you know what? I'll say this at the end too, because I think people will skip through. I remember this one. This is also a really exciting one to get. If there are a bunch of Hearthstone players out there who are like, hey, I want to see every time there's a new expansion, I want Chris to go down this rabbit hole again and build a deck and build like craft like the best deck that's out there and just like play it to death. I would do that. I would do that as like a one-time thing. I would do it maybe as like a YouTube live. So if I get 1,000 subscribers, and you guys all comment down below, then I would do it. And then you can stick around for the cool board game content and learn about games that can replicate this feeling of Hearthstone, but in a real setting and in a way that doesn't make you spend $1,800 over 5 years. Or probably more, that doesn't make you spend $300 every year, but like only makes you spend $60. You know, that's what I like. That's the cost that I like for a game, about $60. Let me know. We'll see. So that's me justifying not just going full scorched earth with the dust. We'll see if I end up installing it, and if it's bad for me, then it's bad for me. But if I can do it for content, and I get a bunch of people who want to see it, then of course I would do it. Because I like making videos, right? Like I like making videos on YouTube, and if there were people who wanted to see it, great. Or maybe that's just me trying to talk myself into keeping and not like getting rid of all this dust. Because I imagine I'm going to have 250,000 at this point. That's going to be my bet. I remember I had a Dino Tamer brand. I had a gold Dino Tamer brand, and then Dino Tamer brand got nerfed, and so I disenchanted it and recrafted the regular one because if you disenchanted a nerf golden, it was 3,200, and so I was able just to get a free legendary craft out of it, and that was exciting for me at the time. Beastmaster Leorox was like a one-turn kill idea that you would create copies of King Crush in your hand, and then you would just summon all 3 and just whack them in the face with it. Never really panned out to being usable, but that was the idea. I remember crafting the Grand Slam because it was so powerful way back in Ashes of the Outland. Okay, we've gone through 4 classes and we're at 67,350 dust. Oh, and I just disenchanted the legendaries again, but I'm not going to disenchant the legendaries from here on out. And we're going to do all those at the end. I really liked Galakron's Awakening as a set. I thought that one was pretty fun. That one was just crafted for duels. Or Descent of Dragons, I guess it was the set. Because I thought it was really fun to have cards that, like, it's similar to Excavate. That's why I like Excavate right now. Evocation, I created Disenchanted, That was a fun one. Just filling your hand with mage spells. But I liked things that, like, down the line give you better investment. And so I think that's why Excavate is a pretty fun one as well. There's a large part of me that wants to stop doing this right now and make sure that I can still build decks. But we're going Scorched Earth. Sometimes you got to rip the Band-Aid off. Even if it takes... Well, I guess you can see... Oh no, my face is covering the time in the corner. It's 1:06 p.m. right now. So we'll see how long this takes. I think I've been recording for like 2 hours. One of my first quests. That was a good one. And it was a legendary. Maybe we're not gonna have that full legendary slew at the end. We're gonna try to remember. I'm in a flow now. I'm gonna get to the end. Maybe not. I'm only at 70,000 dust right now. So 200, maybe 250 is overestimating. But I thought I would get to 50,000, and that would be it. I really did not realize how many cards I had gotten over this time. Secret Mage was fun. That was the only one that I ever really played in Wild. I think it's still on the charts. I love this too. Anything that like gets you a potential for something better down the line is super fun. And I love the random number generator that is Hearthstone. That's just like cast a bunch of random spells. Those decks feel fun to me. Not anymore though. It's like cake, right? Cake's delicious, but I've been eating cake for 5 years, and I can't stop eating cake. And I'm about to have a heart attack. Getting rid of that gold was the most important part for me, right? Because I'm a free-to-play player. I like Arena and I like duels a lot more, and I like places where you have to spend that gold where you can win yourself packs. And that incentivizes me to come back because I knew I could just go and play Arena for days. Really, if I had 1,000 gold, I could play Arena for days. No problem. Haha, not doing that one. Legendary. Caught myself, finally. Maybe I'll just keep the legendaries, you know? Maybe I won't disenchant them. Mana Cyclone, that was fun. That was when you could really fill your hand and play a fun control random spell mage. I think a lot of the reason why you see I only had like a single of some like epics, and the reason they got rid of Highlander as a format, well, really, they're kind of introducing it back now with Ring, but it's because people only need 1 copy of each card to make a good deck. And so you want to make sure people have to have 2 copies of the cards. I never completed that quest. There was always a quest that said have all 3 on the board at one time, and you got 100 experience points, and I never could do it. And I guess I could have just like sold this account, but I think that you can't in Blizzard. I think that's to prevent bots, honestly. But it's also, I wouldn't want somebody having my own personal email address. Saved it. And it'll be easier to talk about the other decks as well through the legendaries, because they're so integral to the construction of a deck. This used to be 2 mana. When this was 2 mana, oh man, it was so good. This was huge for Turtle Mage back in the day. You had one that would cast a spell that made you immune from your deck, and then you just keep on getting copies of that specific thing. Or no, this made you recast this spell And then you could play it again to recast this spell to get more stuff, and it was like a taunt minion. I kind of forget. But you turtled. You just turtled until the other person quit. Wow. This isn't even a basic card anymore. Remember when this was this 2? No, this was 3. I remember when this was 3. I remember loving Vexcrow. Vexcrow and the guy that gets you additional spells, that was cool. Spell Mage was also really fun because you had stuff like this that just got you minions on the board. Like, I can't tell you how many visceral reactions I'm reliving of opening the pack and going, yes, I can finally craft that deck now that everybody's playing. It's a lot. And it's just because I'm stubborn, and it's really just because I'm cheap that I didn't spend a whole crap load of money. But I know that there's so many people out there who have purchased it, who just throw down the money and then keep on this cycle and keep on this treadmill over and over. And to you, I say it's okay to stop. That's what this video is about. It's okay to stop. Think about, if you've enjoyed your time, I think that's awesome. I think if this is like your favorite thing to do, it's your favorite pastime, you love consuming Hearthstone content, you love playing it, amazing. I'm not here to take away your joy. I'm never here to take away anyone's joy. But I know for me, I lied to myself saying that I enjoyed it when I would play other games, I would enjoy that experience more. Like actively enjoy and like have fun. And here I just felt the grind, right? And maybe that's because I was a free-to-play player. Maybe that's because I was cheap and I didn't just buy everything outright and like play my decks and then go on my merry way. Maybe that's a real thing. Maybe this game can't hold your attention long enough for it to make sense that way. And maybe this is my new way to enjoying it. Maybe I can come back and not play Arena and craft any deck I want now. Maybe that's a real thing that I'll find and I'll experience. But I want to emphasize how much that I literally lied to myself. How much I lied to myself, how much I said that this was the thing I wanted to spend my time on. And in retrospect, know that I actually didn't. I developed a wrist injury. I was playing this so much. And yes, it was because I was playing this one. But I did because I was playing it on on a bad table for too long and it hurt my wrist. I have tendonitis in my wrist because of this game. And those sorts of things are when it becomes unhealthy and really unhealthy. And hopefully me talking about it can, and banging this over the head over and over again, can, for people who are playing Hearthstone, or people who are in collectible card games or trading card games, or who feel they need to complete everything, the completionist mentality is not a good thing. It isn't a good thing. It is counter to our enjoyment. I really, truly believe that. It takes us away from the things that we want to be doing. It takes us away from the fun, and all it does is it gives more money to companies. And hey, I love supporting companies that I love, and if that helps it, great. But to a point, right? Your time is so valuable. It really is. And I can't wait to play Dark Souls again, play games that the video game. Play games that I am really have had on my list that I haven't gotten to because it's easier just to play a couple rounds of Hearthstone. I'd much rather play Fortnite than Hearthstone, and I have a much more enjoyable time doing that. And yet, I will play Hearthstone before that. And they're both bite-sized chunks, right? It's easy to play around. But I will veer to Hearthstone before I veer to Fortnite because I don't know why. Because I tell myself it's easier. Because I tell myself it's going to be quicker. It's not going to be quicker. I'm going to be playing for hours. Maybe because I'm better at it. I'm not that good at Fortnite, but I have fun with it. I'm quite good at Hearthstone. I was when I was really playing it. I think I was a free-to-play player who was limited by what I could put into my deck because I was stubborn enough not to pay for things that would consistently get top 100 legend every month. Between 200 and 100. And if I grinded more, probably could have gotten higher, Sometimes you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself. Not going to get rid of you, not going to get rid of you. Yes, that'll be I'm remembering I'm not going to get rid of you. Oh, I remember these upgraded spells were so good. Now they seem pathetic. Oh, Ross Frost Whisper. Yeah, we'll go through the legendaries at the end. It's more exciting that way. Oh yeah, these are diamonds, so the other ones are signature, but they're gone now. Because they only ever had 2. Oh yeah, that was a great Highlander one. I really like the hero ones as well. The ones that let you change your hero and get an upgraded hero power. Those are cool. Oh yeah, the Mana Giants. Back in the day, that was comboed with Mana Cyclone, right? Yeah, Tortolan Pilgrim, it was discover a copy of a spell in your deck and cast it with random targets. So you would do that on the Potion of Illusion. You'd get another one of them, you'd drop it down immediately and get 2 Tortolan Pilgrims, and then maybe it was Solid Alibi that you would use, or something that got you a shitload of armor too, something like that. And then they disenchanted it, so that would be discover no longer a copy of a spell in your deck, but discover a spell in your deck. And it essentially just killed the build. This one was always exciting, but it never was good. Again, because there's just random number generated. Never use DJ Mana Storm. This is one of my favorite cards. It's so stupid. You're just like, it's a last gasp. I hope these hit. You'll often draw cards with it. A lot of spells make you draw cards, so you can use it to fill up your hand. Hopefully clear the board, and then you can reset. Like if your opponent has a very large board and you're gonna die, you throw down one of these and you hope for the best. Okay, so Mage is done except for the legendaries. Oh yeah, I played Libram Paladin was a really fun one. Like you drop these down, you make the Libram of Wisdoms, just like permanent 1/1 buffs that you can always throw on people. You can heal yourself way back. You can corrupt this. You have a 5/3. Like there were a couple things that reduced the cost of all these Librams, and once you discounted all of them, that was a fun time. An annoying time when it was played against you. And that is the benefit of a digital card game, is that you can have these wild things that, like, to replicate in a physical form, it would take a long time to do, right? And it would be really annoying to do. And it's nice that it is automated. That's probably why this is so successful, because of that automation, right? And really, like, in terms of head-to-head 2-player card games, I find I haven't been able to find as much enjoyment with them, because I'd rather the wild, wacky stuff of Hearthstone, but I also feel like it's just because this fires at the, like, dopamine centers in my brain and says, no, you want this, you need this, everything is cool, look, shiny, kaboom. It's why people even play Battlegrounds, which is just essentially watching a computer make your moves for you. I mean, it's a bit more complicated than that, but it's just another mode on here that people like. Yeah, that was a clutch card for a spam build. I guess I could make a whole series of this stuff, right? Like, I could make so many videos about Hearthstone. I've been playing it for so long. But I like my board games. So that's where I'm going to stay. Unless I get 10,000 subscribers. You know what? Tell you what, Hearthstone players. Here's the deal. If you can double my subscriber count, I'll turn this into a Hearthstone channel. Oh My Yogg was the worst one in duels, where you had to make sure, especially when quests were popular, because if somebody got a random Oh My Yogg down and you went to use your quest and it turned into something else, it was awful. It was always something you had to plan for and work against. This was also in the Libram build. I think you could buff someone up super high and then you throw this down to match it. I guess it kind of works like the location of giants. That's also something I've found over 5 years. They just recycle their abilities, make them slightly better, and then make you pay for them twice. Like, really have to collect them twice or pay for them twice? It's so stupid. There's some direct, like, oh, this is this thing, when they already had those in existence. There's like, nah, now it's back in standard, but it's got a different picture on it, so you have to get it again. Ridiculous. I mean, this isn't that, right? And that's for Warlock, and this was for Paladin, and that's fine. And the other one gives you Rush, right? Showing again the power creep, but even still, it's a recycling of ideas. I'm excited to go through all the legendaries at the end. Can't believe I'm just getting rid of the Librams. Can't believe I'm going to get rid of Murgle. I really liked Murgurgle. Yeah, here's the other Libram discount, right? So if you got both of those out quickly, and it was a taunt too, it's so annoying because I have this card where I unlocked it. It's not so annoying. I'm not going to use this dust. Oh, that's where the bargaining comes in, right? The bargaining of the 5 stages of grief. It's like, hey, just give me a reason to do this for work, and I'll do it. Like, I don't want to let it go. Also, I'll do it for work. Huh? Who wants me to do it for work? I can make videos on it. The epic ones really feel. You feel the like making a rare for 100 dust doesn't hurt. Making an epic for 400, like you disenchant a legendary and you get 1 epic. That is a horrible pawn shop return on investment. Oh, here's all my Paladin legendaries. We'll get to you later. Yeah, Lady the Adrin was so huge when I got her for the Libram build. I think that's why I really enjoyed it. But I crafted her. I couldn't get her. I couldn't. I saved up my dust and I crafted her. I never played Murloc Paladin. Never ended up playing Murloc Paladin. Right, I forgot that's who I had from Rise of Shadows. Okay, we're on to Priest. 6 classes down, 5 to go, and then all the neutrals. 88,000. I think we're getting 200,000. That'll be the bar. Raised Dead was an integral card to any sort of. You gonna crash my game? My game gonna crash right now? It might. There we go. Blizzard is mad. Blizzard's mad that I keep on getting rid of everything. Well, too bad, Blizzard, because I'm mad at you. Okay, I'd much rather play that. I'd much rather play Diablo. In terms of Blizzard stuff, I'd much rather play Diablo. It's like, hey, you're going on a scorched earth policy right now. Back from my adventures to do more adventures. Time check. How long have I been doing this for? How long is it? Like, I haven't been wasting that much time. And I've been doing this for 2 hours. Honestly, if I wasn't making a video about this right now, I probably would stop and I would do it another time because I have other things that I need to do. But hey, I am, so I can justify it, right? This Band-Aid off right now. Wait, okay. So in that pack, I got a flash heal, and yet it's a core card right now, right? We all saw that I got flash heal in that Rise of Shadows pack or something, and yet it is a core card, and so I can't uncraft it right now. We almost friggin' did it again. We almost did it again. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Disciple of Galakron, invoking Galakron to destroy a bunch of minions when you put it up. I loved Priest Galakron. That was so fun. And like again, like I'm not looking at these without fondness on them. You gotta know when to pull the trigger, and when things are no longer beneficial to you anymore, you gotta cut them from your life. Renew has been like a huge card because you get to heal and you get to discover. Anything that gets you a discover in like especially duels and oh yeah, this was a fun build. You basically play 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and win the game. This was huge for duels at one point until it got banned. This was a huge card back in the day. You could buff your minions and just like get a huge hand of priest spells, which then could clear the board as well. You could attack minions or buff your own. Super versatile. So you would fill your hand, and then when it died, you just used Raised Dead, and then you got it again. This is such a core priest card. Being able to destroy different forms. Thoughtsteal is also such a core card. I guess it's in Legacy right now. Not quite sure what the Legacy difference is or not, but like was huge. Is huge in battlegrounds and duels. Great for control priest. I wasn't a huge fan of locations. I like their potential, but they take up the spot on your board. I don't know. They're not bad. They just really don't work that well for tempo. But if you're playing a control build, locations aren't too bad. I like this one as well. If you got 2 of these down and they just like buffed each other, your board could become very quickly palm reading, one of the best cards that was added for Priest ever. Just like Priest always has so many spells in their hand, and just being able to discount all of them is so huge. Not huge enough to keep though. This feels good. This feels really good. We're getting through it. There's so much, but we're getting through it. And again, we'll come back to all of the legendaries at the end so we can see just how much dust we're getting. Like, I went through and I dusted all my wild golden legendaries recently, and that got me like 10,000. And that was good because I was running low on crafting material. I was like, why am I keeping these golden ones? At least I can get rid of those. Or I kept the ones that I thought I might use, right? Because there are a few golden ones still left in there. But there are a bunch that they don't ever see any play in wild or duels, and they're no longer in standard. So why are you holding on to them? It's like purging board games, right? We purge our cards when they're no longer bringing us joy. I hope you can hear me over these zaps. Oh yeah, this was like an invoked twice. See, invoke and excavate. It's basically the same thing. It's just a rehash of the mechanic. Now it's something that I like, but even still. Invoke just gave you a consistent thing, and excavate gives you a random thing, you know? Dual legendaries are nice, but generally they work for one thing instead of the other, you know? If they worked for both, they probably would be a standard. Maybe that's not true. That might not be true. You might need to keep it dual so that it doesn't like have a game-breaking combo by being available for every deck. Well, I also really liked like Revive Priest, where you had a whole bunch of like reborn minions and they died, and then you would just resuscitate them. The ones that would just destroy the other person's boards, they would constantly be in play. That was a fun control build. All right, we're gonna stop the time jump here. I'm gonna take away the sound. Yeah, this is the one that you just keep reviving over and over. It was great. Soul Mirror was one that my rank went up an enormous amount when I finally got it. I was playing a build without Soul Mirror in my deck, and it was okay because I could discover it, right? Like being able to discover legendaries is really good in this game. And then when I was able to add it, I just like shot up the ranks because I had this better card. It just, again, it really shows you too, like where it showed me, that it is pay to win. It's essentially pay to win. If you don't have the cards that are good, you can't beat the other decks. You just can't do it. Like all trading card games or collectible card games are structured in this way. You just can't win. Like you can't compete against somebody who has the better cards than you because they are just so much better. And nothing set that home more than when I added Soul Mirror to my like priest deck than when I didn't, because I was relying on being able to discover it with like renew and stuff like that. Mind Control's only 9 now. Dang, I remember that being 10. That was such a good one. All right, we're on to Rogue. We're on to Rogue, and we're almost at 100,000. But again, we haven't been doing legendaries. Oh yeah, the Shadow of Demise feels like it's not going to be a good card, and then it really is. Well, at least it was in duels. Like it helps you get. It's basically a double legendary if you can chain it together. Gives you flexibility, right? That's the key to this game is flexibility. You wanting to be able to respond to whatever your opponents throw at you. Oh yeah, this was a fun one. This was a great rogue card. I remember Dragon's Horde. So good. Oh yeah, I bought Kingsbane. I purchased, well, like I crafted because of duels. That's why duels was a really good mode for them, because it made people like me who came in 5 years late go back and actually get some cards and want to craft them to have viable builds. Oh, Rogue had one of my favorite. When I first started, Flick Sky Shiv was the friggin' bomb. And paying attention to what your opponent had played. Yeah, I had some good games as Rogue. Rogue has seen some good play. I think I've seen some fun play with pretty much every build except Shaman. I find Shaman a tough. Like I got into Totem Shaman a little bit, but it wasn't that fun. And I like Shaman in duels as well because you can use your overload cards there. That's the only times I really play Shaman. Transform Shaman was also one that like I was very excited about, but it never really panned out. And then I played some Galakron Shaman as well when you got there like these big 8/8 elementals onto the board. That was kind of neat. But otherwise, didn't really play that much Shaman. But I played a lot. I've got significant decks in every other class. It's just Shaman that's lacking. 100,000 midway through Rogue. We've hit it. Garroting our way, bleeding. Yeah, that's what that's what your wallets do when you play Hearthstone. They bleed. But we got over that 100,000 mark right here. Heading into the concoctions. Level 2 Rogue. Only 4 more classes to go, and then there's all of our legendaries, and I don't know how many pages there will be in the generic classes. That's what I'm scared for, and also could really pump our numbers up. But there also may not be that many epics in there, so who knows? Maybe we won't make it to 200,000. Maybe we'll make it to 180 at this point. I thought we'd make it to 60,000. So this is by far beyond what I was expecting. And I also know that to craft a deck, it takes like 13,000 dust or something. So I know I have like 10 decks here, which surprisingly gives me a lot of comfort. And also, if you're friggin' holding off, if you're one of those people who spent so much money and you're holding on to these trash wilds, go through, spend, you know, the 3 hours and trash them all. Just dust them all. Yeah, so I gotta delete these because it'll limit my having to push an extra button. You know, it's better than 100,000, 100,000, and oh no, this is a comment. Just wait 1 second. 100. Oh no, it's another comment. Oh, but just a second. We'll almost get there. 100,000 and 1,000. Nailed it. I never played a lot of like rogue filled with stealing cards. I guess I did with Dragon's Horde, but I wish I'd played more of that. I wish I'd played. I know I don't, but I might have had fun with it. I remember getting a com on that was having these like stealth, these ones that shuffled back in. Yeah, those were fun. All right, let's keep it going because we have other things to do today. I love anything that reduces the cost of cards in your hand, though. Those are the stuff. Oh, and the lackeys build. Yeah, getting a bunch of lackeys, and there was one that like made your lackeys worth like 4/4. That was a fun sort of bouncing way to build as well. I usually was pretty diligent as I played through the game of dusting any excess gold cards, but I think I only started that like when I realized I needed more efficiency. And so there's a few. I'm surprised at how many gold cards that we're actually seeing here in Wild. Maybe it had to do with something like the changeover of what's in the core set and what's not. Oh yeah, Rogue Galakron was fun. Forgot about that. Only certain classes had Galakron, which was a bit upsetting. I wanted a cool dragon for all of them. I like making big ghosts. I like big ghosts, and I cannot lie. Those were fun. So many things like, and I feel like in a lot of the expansions, like some are designed that you're gonna create combos. Some of the combos they don't recognize or realize that people will come up with, and then some of the cards they throw in there are just bloat. They're like, let's have this trigger another keyword, see if it works. Let's let the community figure it out. Yeah, we got gold. Oh well, maybe I was getting some gold from those packs that we opened. That's also something. I imagine we'll get 16k dust excess from our legendaries, something like that. 40 of them, maybe more. You know, if there is an afterlife, Hearthstone is something like if there's a good place, Hearthstone's something where I would want to play in the good place and unlock every card. You know, because I would have the time to go through that grind, and I'd go through a bajillion arena runs, and it would occupy my time in an eternal landscape of time where time didn't matter. But here on Earth, time does matter, and there are other better things to do. And maybe I would be able to play enough. This is my point. Maybe I'd be able to play enough to get it out of my system. You know, I thought I would be able to play enough to get it out of my system, and I don't think I ever will. Certainly not on this plane of existence. No, not that one. I'm doing pretty well. I haven't disenchanted any more legendaries though, so we are going to have a nice big swath of legendary pumping us up, which will be fun. This again shows you the power creep. Sprint used to be a cost 7, and now they're like, okay, it's only cost 5. Like, it is unusable at 7. Everything else is better. And you see when the adjustment of all the core cards starts going down and down, that's indicative of how much power creep exists. I think Flick Sky Shiv might be one of my favorite cards. I think this might be one of my favorite legendaries. And Ice Baron Togwaggle was awesome. Getting these like really great treasures, being able to do that with the lackey build, that was pretty good. Oh yeah, draw 4 cards, they cost 0. This was also the lackey build. That's when we were playing with so many lackeys, because it's it comboed with Galakron the Apocalypse or Azeroth's End. Oh yeah, this recently just got buffed, didn't it? Maybe try Pirate Rogan Duels. One last swan song. Oh wait, no, we are out of gold. That's why you do it. That's why I had to get rid of all the gold, because I knew I knew I'd want to do a swan song, and I don't want that anymore. All right, on to Shaman. Shaman, who, whenever it was getting interesting, they decided to buff it or nerf things so that it wasn't fun anymore. I don't think we've ever seen Shaman being played at like a competitive level, right? Like Shaman's always been like really underserved. And so Totem Shaman's making a bit of a comeback right now. But the only Shaman build that I played, was I played a bit of Galakron. Like I said, I played Transform Shaman. And then, but the only one that I really play now is in duels with Overload. Wow, what's that land formation called? It's Scald Geyser. Yeah, there's so many cards. I guess Murloc Shaman was a real thing as well. There's so many cards in here where I'm like, I've never used you. I forgot that you existed. And that holds true for a lot of the Shaman ones instead of other ones. Ugh, that's annoying. Your core as well, I had you. So annoying when you work so hard. And then you could have gotten it for free if you just waited 3 years. Those are the sort of things that I'd be willing to do. Goodbye, my lover burst. Goodbye, lightning breath. You have been the one. You have been the one for me. Except not at all, because it's Shaman. Warlock will be a trip down memory lane. I think I probably played, I don't know how many. We can check the stats. I played a variety of stuff, but I think I've played a lot of Warlock. Memorable Warlock. I played a lot of Mage, because that's the one that everybody plays when you just get started into this game. I played a lot of Paladin because of the Libram set. And then everyone else is sort of general across the board. Probably Demon Hunter next would be my guess. Oh, Hunter. I played a lot of Hunter. I got to Legendary Hunter was my first time hitting Legendary, doing Highlander Hunter, so I was grinding that for a long time. See, aren't diamonds so much more exciting than golden? Look at how they move just a little bit. Golden, well, that's not gold, but ugh, yuck. But these are the things, like these are actual, like legitimate things that matter when you're in the thick of it too, which is important to recognize. It's like deluxifications in a board game, right? There's so many things that just like suck you in that don't really matter. Actually, deluxifications, at least you can hold them. Here, it's just a picture. It's like an NFT. Man, Firemaster Flurgle's at 4 right now? Jeez, I remember when it was 2. What a weird nerf. I guess because they're adding in a bunch of Murlocs, they're trying to make Murloc more viable. So better make sure Shaman doesn't get any play. This is really good though. I'm very happy with my decision. Also, there's kind of no reason for me to play if I'm not playing duels, because that was something that I was enjoying. And like the runs. Arena is okay, but Arena's a bit swingy, just depending on the legendary you now get at the beginning, and if you're able to connect and create a deck, or if not, right? You don't know what cards are going to come up, so that's why you always want to go for discover cards in Arena. This was one of my favorite Shaman cards. It was such a cool weapon. You could transform your minions into one more. Never worked out though. Always was too expensive. Or when it was cheap, maybe it was working. And then they nerfed it. Even that should show you. Oh, well, I can't undo it now. No, I'm not gonna do it. But even in the Shaman Galakron, everybody else has been showing all the different Galakrons, and they're like, nah, you get one. You get one, it upgrades, but nobody's gonna care about it anyway, so we're not even gonna put the time into showing you what cards you could become as Galakron. Or Galakron. I don't know. Yeah, I'm seeing some doubles from Rise of Shadows, so clearly either I crafted them, but I don't think I would have ever crafted Hagatha. So I think I did start at the tail end of Rise of Shadows into Saviors of Uldum. Oh yeah, that freezing one used to be huge because you also got +1 for every minion you froze. So not only did you freeze everything, but you just like really tanked up. I remember that one seeing some really annoying play. Yeah, Galakron the Apocalypse, Galakron Azeroth's End as you upgraded. We're getting close, people. This is the last legendary that I got. I just got this recently. People were bouncing that one off back and forth. I mean, maybe we're not even getting close. I thought this video would be over. I thought it wouldn't take me this long. I'm glad I started doing this while talking. I'm glad I didn't say, okay, and then now we're gonna go through for a time lapse. Okay, we're on to Warlock. Let's get it. I loved playing like no deck Warlock. You just destroyed your whole deck so that you could then put better cards into it and open a portal that just constantly spewed out imps, filled your whole board with imps every round, and then also, or destroyed your whole deck and then turned your fatigue damage into damage against your enemy. There were so many fun ways to like play around with the structure of Hearthstone and like give a different feel to the game. Like it was always that balance of hurting yourself in order to like move through the game quickly. And I think like threading that line I always found pretty interesting and kind of fun. I feel like I know I've played Mage the most, probably. We'll see with wins, I guess. You can't really, well, we'll check the stats after. And you can see if I've been lying about being how many games I've played, or if we can actually see the amount of games or just the amount of wins, because those are definitely two different things. But I definitely feel like maybe I've played Warlock the most. Oh yeah, this was a great one in Arena, because then you just, who cares? You've drafted a crap deck anyway, you just replace them all, and then you have a permanent buff. Not as great in Constructed, because obviously you want to have consistency, and sometimes you don't have consistency. And it depends upon the pool of demons as well. A lot to keep track of too. Ugh. I also hate that they give you these things, because nobody plays with them, and there are so many different abilities, and they look different from the thing that you're used to looking at. I think this creation was so stupid as like a signature thing that they were trying to get going, just again, experimenting with trying to get people more invested and spend more money on collecting cosmetic things. Just so dumb. And you can't get rid of them. You can't get rid of them, and when they're played, you don't know what they do, and you have to hover over them, and it just slows down the game. It's just dumb. I don't know. I think we'll cross 150,000 dust. I think we will cross that number. Don't know if we'll get to 180 or not. Depends how much gold we've got in them there. Common hills. I doubt that much. Oh, here's some grand tournament boomsday stuff. This is one that I've been, that was what I was playing last night, some Sludge Warlock, and then I was playing Arena and Duels. I've been going 12 on Arena for quite a few times now, and then, or 11, and then going like 1 or 2 on Duels, because I've just been trying to play with different decks. So it's like immediately get a whole bunch of gold, and then just lose it immediately. Plot Twist was a card that only worked if you had the quest that was like, draw 20 cards. The only reason to have it. Literally just to fulfill that quest, right? So many of these cards, and then so you get these cards that if you don't have those legendaries, or if those legendaries aren't in play anymore, it's just a garbage card. But you hold on to it because you think you might need it later. I never had that quest of drawing cards, because I never thought it looked that fun. This was one of the best ones for, again, Arena. I remember that being an auto draft for Arena. That one's for the different quest of the other more fun quest, I think, of punching yourself in the face and having that damage go to your opponent. Oh yeah, I forgot Warlock had a Galakrond one as well. It wasn't that exciting, I don't think, because it says summon demons, and you could just get like a bunch of really small demons that sucked. So it was just like really inconsistent. Oh yeah, and Soul Shard. Soul Shard Warlock too was fun. But I think Soul Shards I use more in Demon Hunter. Soul Fragments, rather. Warlock's just like really annoying. probably shows that I'm just an annoying person, because I like Warlock. We're at 121, almost at 122. Yeah, I thought we were slowing down, but I guess I have a lot of Warlock cards. Yeah, Tamlin's Phylactery was something that I never saw play until it really saw play. Like this I played a lot in Duels. I got this one, and I remember being like, oh, this sucks. This is a legendary that sucks. And then when it came around again, I was like, oh, see, that's why you hold on to all your legendaries all the time. Not yet, though. Let's get that big catharsis. Or we can turn back. There's no turning back now. I've spent so long getting rid of this stuff. To jump back in, it would be an even more waste of my time. I could have been playing Arena if I was gonna do this. We gotta make this count. Yeah, Envoy Rustwick was awesome, because you just get to shuffle in like all these other really good ones into your deck. And you do that when you are out of a deck, so you're always drawing them. Pre-Titans, these guys. Death Rattle Titans. And they're like, nah, you know what? Let's get the Death Rattle out of there. We'll just give you the big one. This Lady Darkfane was huge for the one where you're sticking annoying cards into your opponent's hand. Abyssal, maybe? I forget the names and all this stuff. And like most of these, I got through grinding. Like I don't think there are many that I crafted. Maybe I craft like 4 or 5 legendaries, but all the rest I've gotten through hard work, dedication, and infinite arena and infinite duels. It's a lot of work. But I say this because I know I doubt anybody's watching still at this point, but it's just nice to have you here to talk to while I do this. Nice to be able to share what's going on inside. Yeah, Ticketus, one of my favorite legendaries as well. Remove the top 5 cards from your deck, or remove it from your opponent's deck, and you just like wreck through them. If you can do a double Ticketus, like brand Ticketus combo, or like bounce this back into your hand and then do it again and just wreck their whole deck, that always felt really fun. Not fun when it happened to you, but fun all the same. Willow, I never got working for me. Gigafin was fine, you know. I think I might have crafted this one specifically for duels, and then I got banned from duels, and I was like, all right, well, F my drag. All right, we're on to Warlock. We're at, Warrior. We're at 125,000 worth of dust. So do you get about 25,000 in dust every year? That's a metric that people might be interested in. That was a good quest line too. A lot of the quest lines I find are really fun. The extra heroes as well are really fun. Anything that like give you a really strong payoff, I enjoyed. Yeah, even just looking back on the Invoking and how it compares to the Excavating right now. There's so many cards that are just the same with different keywords. And yet we're paying the same amount of money. We're grinding the same amount of time just to do those same things again and again in this wild cycle of repetition. Oh yeah, Warmaul Challenger. I remember Warmaul being pretty integral, right? Especially if you buff it in your hand and then you drop it down, you not only kill something right away, but you've got a huge minion left on the board. It's pretty big. Okay, we're at 130, almost at the end of our 11 classes. Ripping through everything. 130,000 dust. It's a lot. Oh yeah, I remember Kargath. Getting a nice Kargath. That's a fun prime. Gives you so much armor. And you can discover it in like the Discover a Rush card. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. I think it would also be interesting to see like how many cards carry over from set to set or from year to year, right? Like how many cards still end up being relevant. I'm saying this because I'm thinking, again, it shows you how deep down the rabbit hole I am. I'm thinking, well, okay, if I do get back into it, like the point of doing this is not to get into it. The point of doing this is to expunge it and make it impossible to play again. But it's still very possible to play right now because of all this dust, and that it might be something that I'll have to deal with, or I'll do it for content. I can make some fun Hearthstone content. I'm very good at it, so would be pretty easy. The problem, okay, here we go. The problem is that I would have to construct, like I'd have to just net deck a lot of stuff if I was to get back into it, because I wouldn't have the full gamut of cards. I guess you could just look through and see what to craft and then pick and choose and craft those things, right? Net deck as like a basis. Sanitize is a great card right now for Control Warrior. I liked Pirate Warrior too. Pirate Warrior was fun to play. And Rainbow Warrior. We're calling it Rainbow Warrior. Just when you have a bunch of different mech dragon pirate, like a diversified warrior. I remember getting Ringmaster Watley and like being able to play that deck, and that was fun. I skipped that. It does really hurt to get rid of ones that like I've crafted recently. All these are be disenchanted, but we'll do that later. To Rattlegore. Is Rattlegore? No, you're not core yet. Troublemaker was a fun one to have. That was a good one. You just spewed out 3/3. That was good in Arena. Hard to deal with. Like a lot of these cards that are really powerful, good players will just hold on to stuff to deal with it. Okay, we're in to the common cards for everyone. Get rid of all these zeros. Oh, we're at 132,000. Yeah, I think we might hit 150 by the end of the commons, and then maybe 175, 165 with the legendaries. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how many friggin' common legendaries I have as well. A lot of these are uncraftable though. I remember Blazing Battle Mage was like, it was like, oh, this is so overpowered. But then there was also like a Raven that was a 2/2/1, right? Like just that this could be applied to everyone, and druids could have access to the other one. I guess I understand the duplicates in terms of if you're going for like a small mini strategy, you can then add both in. There's a lot of just cards that they give you. These Og merchants back in Outlands of the Ashes, Ashes of the Outlands, were pretty clutch, if I remember correctly. Especially that Divine Shield one. Take a damage to get Divine Shield, like, obviously. It's like they give us a bunch of, oops, that should have been our legendary one, but that's okay. I forget what I was saying. I want to be done this. I want to make my other more fun video about everything that's leaving Kickstarter in the board game world and looking through all the rule books. That's more fun. I want to get out of these friggin' ones. The ones and twos in here. Oh man, I got a long way to go. Oh yeah, I crafted Sphere of Sapience in order to make Turtle Mage work. That was the key to Turtle Mage, is that you had that, and as long as you left your spells in your deck and put them at the bottom of your deck, you were golden. That's how that worked. Oh, we're almost on to twos. Okay. We're getting there. 135. Oh yeah, here's an example of something that was never used ever. When you trade, discover a card from your deck to draw instead. Like, it's not a permanent ability, it's just like it has to be out there, and it's so easy to die that like it's never gonna... You'd have to have a bunch of trade cards in your hand, you'd have to have a very specific purpose searching for things. Generally, it gives you enough draw to work. Like, getting this is completely legendary bloat, and could have been a common card, but they threw it in as a legendary to make you keep up with the grind. So many commons. I remember the watch posts. When they dropped, the watch posts were kind of interesting. They were really overpowered at the very beginning, and then they got nerfed. Fucking goddamn flint firearm. That was so rude. Oh well, thanks for the dust, Hearthstone. So long, and thanks for all the dust. You know what these are? These are like U2 forcing their album onto everybody's iTunes. We don't want it. Man, there's so many cards in here that you just would never use. Even in Wilds, you just would never use them. Here, I thought this would be an easy video. It doesn't even appeal to my main audience. Maybe it does. I don't know. I know it doesn't. This might do it, because I don't think I could go through the horror of disenchanting everything again. We're on to 3! Yes, okay, we're doing it. We're getting through. 137,000. Wait, 138,000. Wish this was real dollars. That would be nice. Yeah, here's what the real Cowboy Soloist looks like right here. Boom, boom, just a common, and then you get this stupid thing too. Hearthstone really doesn't want to make it easy for you to get rid of cards. I mean, it's nice that they make it easy to get rid of the excess cards, because else people would throw a fit. But for any of these cards, like, you can't just dust a pack, right? Because they want to encourage you to purchase more and to play more. I'm even surprised, as somebody who I thought was being efficient with dust, at how much dust I've had and how much I've been like holding myself back and doing the grind for, when there is all that dust that should have been sort of readily available. You live and you learn, and you don't go back. Firehawk was good in Arena. It's very situational. Gain 1 attack for each card in your opponent's hand, I think it was said. So it really punishes people who are trying to hoard. Oh, I can't wait to get rid of all those legendaries. I just can't friggin' wait. These, like, realistically, getting rid of all your commons, not that much of a punishment, right? Getting rid of all your legendaries, that takes an enormous amount to buy back. I mean, I could, at this point, probably buy 100 legendaries, which would be a year's worth of not grinding. And I need to not think about that, or else it might encourage me to come back. Wish you could really filter out the core set, but again, that would make it easy, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm glad we opened the packs in the middle. 140! Yeah, we're getting to 150 easy. We're only on 3. Oh, you can feel it ramping up now, though. At least I can. I've been at this for longer than I wanted to. Hearthstone's one last time sink. It got me again. Northshire Farmer was pretty integral for getting the pig, that Elwyn boar. If you could get 7 of them to die, you win the game, essentially. I don't even know what you do. Who cares? Ugh. Like, it makes me not want to play those cards. You know what? I wish every card was like that. Inaccessible. Because that would have made me quit a lot sooner. Oh, this one was huge for Demon Hunter when you had that one that did a huge lifesteal damage to everybody. That was a huge board clear, saved you back, and then you could hit your win condition. 2-step win condition. Live, and then hit your win condition. Yeah, been a while since I've seen Terran Gorefiend. Been a while since I've seen a Legendary. For those of you keeping track, it's now 3:30. I started this around 11. That's how long it has taken me to go through all of these animations. And that makes me maybe mad enough to never do it again. Are we on to 4? Oh, are we on to 4? Yes. 143. Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, Angry Hellhound. Those two are the same cards. Yeah, Cheesemonger. Cheesemonger was great in Arena. Anything that gets you cards. Take it. Your goal in Arena is to outlast your opponent. Your goal in Arena is to always play control. Not always, but, pretty close. Oh yeah, Frizz Kindle Roost was also a really fun one that I got way back when Dragon builds were viable. Huge discount. Feels like it's moving quicker. I don't know. We're almost at 5, though. Because you get less as you go up. We're on 5, baby. We're on 5, almost 150. Yeah, that was a great one for Druid. I'm struggling, right? Like, going through all this, I'm seeing all this dust. I'm seeing all this potential wasted. And I'm still struggling. Like, I'm still trying to justify in my head. I'm like, well, I better hold on to my legendaries in case I have to craft things later, But there should be no later. The only reason there'd be a later is if, like, we did a once every 3-month thing on Hearthstone. If people, if the Hearthstone community was like, no, for some reason, Chris, you are the best streamer in the world, even though we've never seen you. Or the board gaming community is like, you know what, Chris, we want to abandon board games and see you play this collectible card game that has clearly been bad for your mental health. Right? Both of those outcomes, I realize, speaking them out loud, are silly and won't happen. However, that's the justification that you go through. I think we go through that justification in a lot of things. I think we go through it in Kickstarter as well. I think we go through it whenever we're trying to justify purchasing that all in. Saying that it won't be good if I don't have this thing, won't be playable if I don't have this thing. Like, literally, I could craft any deck that I wanted to for the next 10 expansions. Quite literally. And they would give you a deck on, like, re-entering. I'm good, right? At least there's that. At least there's that for the people who spent $1,800 getting all this sort of stuff, and I've gotten it for free. But even still, there's that feeling. It's that collector's mentality. It's that what you have won't be enough. It's that fear of missing out. It's that consistent FOMO that you might miss out on something, or it might be the thing that, like, makes it great. 150. We're at number 150. I didn't even plan it that way during this talk, but here we go. I'm just trying to talk out my own feelings, right? Like, my own how I'm processing this thing, and seeing the abundance of dust and thinking that I'm not going to get rid of that dust might be very bad for me. I might experiment with it. It might just be a baby step sort of thing that I can't get rid of it right now. And it might just be that I need to move on, and I can't devote the mental space into making that decision because we're on number 6. Oh God, we're so close. But I am dusting everything. We're dusting everything here over the past 5 years of playing for free, playing obsessively, playing addictively, having this be the thing that consumes your time. And really, over the last 3 years, like this, it should be said, over the last 3 years, you could see it with my stats of when I was in the thick of it and when I was playing quote unquote casually, because it is a very different thing. Like, unlocking those legendaries and getting a full 29 legendaries, like, I can't express to you. Well, if you play Hearthstone, I barely crafted any of those. That should tell you the amount of times that, and because you have to go 7 games, right? At least 2 hours per pack. That's at least 40 hours per legendary. That's 40 times 30-ish, 40 times 29, right? That's 400, 1,200 hours. I imagine I spent 1,200 hours on one of those expansions. That's disgusting. The things I could have accomplished in that time. But then I switched to doing YouTube. And so YouTube became my new obsession. And that was a lovely thing because, yeah, I wanted to play with this card, but there were no realistic ways for it to actually make sense. Because in standard, the tempo is too quick. And then duels, well, it wasn't allowed. I wanted to get it in. This was a huge one to get. Yeah, that was key for the Galakrond expansion. And again, see, it's so easy to pull focus. It's so easy to pull focus. I immediately lose what I'm talking about. I don't even know. I got sucked in by the memory. You know what I was sucked in by just there? I was sucked in by the memory of getting that thing. I remember it exploding, and I remember being like, "Oh, cool!" I remember being that being the first legendary I got in Descent of Dragon, and I was like, "Oh, wow, this is a really good one to get because it combos with all the things that I already have, right?" And so even getting that feel, like, that was a visceral feeling. That was a visceral feeling whenever Descent of Dragons came out 3 years ago or something. That was 4 years ago maybe, because it was early on. That was a visceral feeling of getting that card and remembering that visceral feeling right now, right? But yeah, so I became obsessed with YouTube and I stopped playing as consistently, which was great because I didn't have the time. And now I will put my time into my 3 to 4 jobs, depending on the day, to 6, depending on the day. There was a time at which it was bad. And I think, I guess my hope, again, just by repeating this all the time, is that if you're out there and you're struggling and like deleting it, it hasn't been enough and you keep on coming back, do this. And then craft a million of the same legendary. That's what I'm going to be doing. And then disenchant it all until you've exchange rated yourself out of all of your dust. Go Scorched Earth. It's a good thing to do. Again, the only reason I'm probably not going to go through with it, oh, we're on 7. God, it's so good. Is because I don't know if this might make interesting content. I don't know if this might appeal to a crowd. I don't know if I can turn it into a YouTube endeavor. And so, but having it as part of that, as like a potential toolkit in that, and only that, is interesting enough for me, and maybe I'm just justifying it, but it's hopefully interesting enough that I can not go down the rabbit hole. But if I find myself going down the rabbit hole again and getting addicted again, then I'll finish the Scorched Earth policy. That's my guarantee to myself right now. Chris, timestamp this as you're talking to future Chris. This is your guarantee. This is your intervention. Scorched Earth policy engaged, because that's what this is, and you better finish the job. This is another sort of hunter, spam the board with a bunch of stuff, then play this to get King Crush 1-turn kill. Like, that's how I would use that one. Wonder if somebody will. Not me. We're on 8. Trigger Cthulhu. Yes, I am sure. I just crafted this last night, and I haven't played it once. We're on 9. We're almost done. This feels really good. This has been a marathon. I think of these cards too a lot like board games on a shelf of shame. Like Dragon Queen, Alexstrasza. I remember getting this one. It's really good. 2 random dragons to your hand, cost 0. This is great for Highlander. And I just remember like the importance of some of these cards and like how I enjoyed playing with them, or how like integral they felt. But at the end of the day, get out of here, North Sea Kraken. Jeez. At the end of the day, if it doesn't bring you joy, Marie Kondo that shit, you know? We're on 10. I can't believe it. I thought that was it. See, this is it. This is it. This is the last page. Boom, boom, boom. And then the Naga Giant, which is a... All right. So we have made it. We have made it through. We should only have legendaries left. Oh, I guess I missed one. I guess I missed a couple. We'll do some cleanup. We'll do some cleanup at the end. But we should only have legendaries left to get rid of. Let's search the search bar. 5 years of Hearthstone without getting rid of a lot of legendaries gave me 153,000 dust. So now let's see what's going to happen in this final stretch. And if you've jumped to the end to see the finale, I don't blame you. I'm going to do a little bit of a recap of what we talked about. If you're too long didn't watch, it's going to be a long video. I didn't expect it to be this long, but addiction is a tricky subject, and I've really been feeling this. I've been feeling this a lot, and I just feel so much better when I accomplish things and when I put all my energy into just like creating and into work and into things that people can enjoy rather than an endless cycle of just completionism. I think that is it's so good to get this off my chest. It really is. So thanks for being here. And seriously, if you've just jumped to this point too, and you want to see the grand numbers as we go through, I imagine we're going to get to 180. That's my guess. 175 or 180. Don't know how many legendaries I have, but I have a lot of them. There was a section that you may have skipped by. I don't know. Do me a solid. Give me a subscribe. I know that I do board game content. You might just be here for Hearthstone, but if you are, just give me a sub down there. I promise not to clog up your feed. You can just ignore me, or I can give you tactile experiences that you can play with other people and friends and get friends around the table. And I also might pop up from time to time to be that voice of moderation. That's what I try to be in this space, in the board gaming space, and through this video is a voice of moderation and of reason. Sometimes you need someone to talk yourself out of it. I need someone to talk myself out of it. I need me to talk myself out of it, which is why I make a lot of my videos. So drop me a sub, hook me up. I'd really appreciate it, and cost you nothing. Unlike Hearthstone, which costs you $1,800 at the very least. Let's get through this. The Demon Seed, and in this one too, if you're here for Hearthstone, I'm going to go through and say which ones I like the best. I loved this one. This was such a good quest. It's saying goodbye to some friends right now. That was such a great quest line. Tamsin was overpowered at the very beginning. Tamsin, I think I created Tamsin because I didn't see her value for a long time. Why are we starting Warlock? Warlock's my favorite. Let's not start a Warlock. Let's go back to Death Knight. Oh, because we already did Death Knight. And we already did Druid, and we already did Demon Hunter. Yeah, we'll get back to Warlock. I think Warlock's one of my favorite. And we already did Hunter by accident. We'll go to Mage. Here we go. Infinitize the Maxitude. I love cards that like generate stuff. So that one was always fun to have. Commander Sivara, I didn't really use that much, but I understand her use in like a real spell-driven one. Varden Dawngrasp, I saw a lot of play in duels. That's gone. I remember Jandis. Jandis had, because there were some really powerful 5-cost minions when Jandis came out. And so she was super powerful for like board control. And you just get one of them. Keywarden Ivory never really made play. Maligo's Aspect of Magic. I remember getting this one early on too, and seeing the upgraded spells were so good. I might have had to create Rosfrost Whisper. I might have crafted that one because it was just like so powerful and back in the spell damage days. Never used this one. Never used it. That's one for never used. Reno was great though, as in a Highlander deck. Used this briefly in duels, but only maybe in Wild too, when I was dabbling in Wild, because I was doing a secret mage build. Archmage Antonidas, I used once. There was like a 1-turn kill build with him, but I never really saw play. Magister Dawngrasp saw a lot of play in terms of upgrading your ability, especially combined with the thing that made your hero power better. I made Gaia the Tectonic. This is when I kind of jumped back in, I think, in Voyage of the City, and I needed some Titans to see play. Never really saw Grand Magus Antonidas either. Never really saw this one come up like to be played, but when it arrived in like a dragon package, I was happy. Mordresh saw a lot of play. This was a great one. The hero power mage was really solid, and then you could just make a copy of it and just spam it over and over. Also fun in duels. This one I made specifically because there's a weird duels build that just makes you invincible and then the opponent just quits. Wasn't that fun. Never played DJ Manastorm. Was never worth it. You almost need to like have some control, get everything, get a bunch of fireballs in your hand, and so that you can just like blast things out. But you can't have low spells, right? Like the potential for low spells, this is like a finishing move sort of thing. There's Mage, that's Mage gone. Over here, Rise to the Occasion, yeah, it was okay. I kind of played it in duels. I didn't really play it anywhere else. Didn't really see play in Paladin. This is still seeing play right now in March of the Lich King. I got wrecked by that the other night. Katori Lightblade is like a buff sort of minion, but I never really played it. Murger McGurgle, oh yeah, loved that. Was so happy to have a Titan. Lord Baroff was huge back in the day for board control. This was a huge card, both for Warrior and Paladin. I never used this one, tried to make builds that used it, and just ended up wasting time and money. This one was just a recent one in the mini set, so hasn't seen play. This one seems really fun. Again, going back to that Highlander, I like the idea of Highlanders. And getting a Mirage that transforms into a copy of a minion in your deck, so you can have like cheap minions that are affected when a Paladin plays a lot of stuff. They get discounted. Cariel Rome was huge, discounted the stuff that back in the Libram days, like a combo of that and High Abbess Allura, like of buffing. That was really good. Cannon Master Smith never had a secret Paladin build, useless. Never used this one either. Probably a bit too expensive to see swapping play. And because you can silence things, right? Like you just silence it and then you've wasted all your turns. I had fun with this one, but that was more of a duels thing. The Purator is for just pure Paladin for drawing stuff. That was okay. Tyre never really played, but it's been pretty recent. Anachronos, it's an interesting concept, but no. Lady Leadrin was awesome, though, especially for Libram. She loves them, then she Librams. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good. The Countess, I love these legendary invitations, discovering other legendary things to bring in. The Leviathan, I think I crafted because it felt so integral. It was a good Titan. Never really saw that much play. I guess it did see some play in pure Paladin, but it was a bit late game. Lightforge Cariel did see a lot of play though. Like you don't take damage. you just take it all. Wow. But that's gone. Turalian the Tenured, nothing really interesting there. Nozari, I know there were a bunch of stuff based on Nozari, but I never really was playing around that time. Yeah, we're at 170. I knew we'd get a lot. Activate the Obelisk was cool. That was a cool quest. Like being able to buff your minions and heal them, like that was cool as priest. This had some play in larger priest decks for tempo, but nothing to worry about. This again was just back in the days where it was a bit slower, and so you could get that into your deck, and that was kind of fun. Seek Guidance was a fun quest to go down for sure, because you just killed your opponent when you got the Purified Shard. Love Everlasting is a great for priests because it's so good. You discount like your beginning spell every time. Mind Flayer, I remember using Mind Flayer a lot in specific circumstances, but I can't remember like it being integral. Mindrender Lucia was swap your hand before with your opponents, and then you could just use all their good cards, which was really good when then they nerfed it. Pelagos never really played that much. This was like Undead Priest. This was in Control Priest when you're trying to complete the quest line. It was good to have. This one was pretty good as like a good Control Priest board clear because you're constantly healing yourself. Never really used Dark Inquisitor, Xanash, the corrupt cards. Corrupt Priest, it just didn't really work. High Cultist Basilef, I think got a nerf. It's a bit more expensive. And Meta Pure Light was really, really good because it was just a permanent light. Oh yeah, Sister Sylvana. Like I really like Control Priest. Control Priest was again a really fun one that I played a lot of. Titans are always like really powerful. They're the most powerful things. Behemoths kind of. Prophet Velen never really used. I mean, I used that a bit in duels before it was banned. Soul Mirror I talked about earlier on. It was really good. Goon the Blood God never really saw play, but Murazan the Infinite did. That was a good one. And Zarilla the Devout is huge in duels for just like wrecking the opponents. You could combine that with the Shellfish one, really making your opponent take fatigue damage. Okay, onto Rogue. Yeah, we're getting more than I expected. Shadow Demise, great flexible one. Kingsbane I made specifically for duels, and duels is gone, so goodbye. Maestro of the Masquerade I never really saw the benefit of until I got better at the game, because people think you're playing a different class, and then you pop out and be like, no, just kidding, I'm actually Tempo Rogue, see you later. Shadow Jeweler Hanar I never got, and I was very happy when it was added to core because it saw a lot of play, and I just never played with it. Timu was good too, as well. Or Temu the Red Smoke. Akama never really saw play. This is currently kind of seeing play. I like this as discover a card from another class. It costs 3 less. Like it's a really good card, I think, and we'll see play. This was fun in the Concoction. Concoction Rogue was a moment. This got nerfed. It was good, and then it got nerfed, I think. Never really saw play ever. Another one of those things that's like, yeah, maybe it could be good, and then you try it and it didn't. Infiltrator Lillian was nice. She was nice when she arrived. Like, it was a good tempo smashing, and this is just kind of like a dumb fun one as well, which you know what, we might get to 200. We might get to friggin' 200k. Krakatoa Titans. The Titans were really good, you know, like any of the Titans. This is a hard one because it's my maybe I'll leave you the last. Maybe I'm gonna keep those two. It's a weird Titan. I've never used that one, and I never will. This is a better pirate for Pirate Rogue, but it's still not gonna happen. Shadowcrafter I've gone back and forth on. It was okay. It wasn't the best. I'm gonna keep flicking Heist Baron until the end. Shaman. This is the best Shaman card, and it's gone now. It was a good quest. It lets you cast things double. Ulmer Hammerbreak is a really weird one that Shaman has these weird combos that it likes to play at. Actually, I'm just kidding. Instructor Fireheart is the best Shaman card. That's one you absolutely needed. This one is based off of a one-turn kill strategy that I don't really care about. Murloc strategy that I don't really care about. Overload strategy that I don't really care about. This is a great one though, because you have 2 attack and Wind Fury into your, and you could often like transform into that. This is great if you're playing in duels. Rot Gill is good for like huge boards. Never really played Kragwa the Frog, and that makes sense because it's from Rostakon's Rumble, so I kind of missed the boat on that one. This one was okay. Yeah, it was pretty good actually. I don't know. It's gone now. I played with that one a little bit, but it just like wasn't powerful enough. A lot of this stuff, a lot of the Shaman stuff just isn't powerful enough, you know? Recon of the Elements was fun. That was a fun one. Yeah, we're getting to 200k. I didn't think we were. Popgar, I was very happy. This is like instrumental to the Sludge one, and it's gone. If you want to do duels, well, duels doesn't exist anymore. Tamlin's Phylactery was huge for like having a whole. You made a whole row of imps. You traded it out. You got your naval mine out early. Then you made a whole roll of imps. Threw this down. Gave the imps the death rattle that if they die, deal 4 damage to the hero, and then you kill them all, sacrifice them all. It was a 1-turn kill prep, and you just like wait. Never used this. A garbage legendary that should have been dusted long ago. Deck of Chaos was a fun one, but it really just didn't play that well. Loved Envoy Rustwick. Got really good play out of that. And this one was huge for the Abyssal Waves and those sort of thing. This was great for no deck Warlock. We're gonna hit 200k. I thought we would. I crafted that one, and now it's gone. But like really integral. Yeah, Abyssal Curses, Abyssal Warlock. That was a fun Warlock build to play. I don't think I can craft that. Oh yeah, look at that. Not a bad one, but like because your hand would get pretty full when you were drawing through your deck. Tamsin was a great board clear, and you could then always be spouting out like 3/3s. Didn't really do imp builds that much personally. Ticketus, you know what? I'm keeping Ticketus. Keeping Ticketus as well. As our last ones. Archwitch Willow is gone. Gigafin was okay. As Titans go, it's fine. It's just like another board clear. And I remember this one being pretty fun back in the day because you threw that out and then you used your hero power to draw a card and get a 6/6 dragon for 2 damage. That was a pretty good trade-off. Oh yeah, now I can uncraft that. Yeah, we're getting 200. We're getting 200. This was a fun quest line. Pirate Warrior was fun. Rush Warrior was also fun too. You would get a bunch of little rush minis in your hand, and then you would move forward and punch forward over and over again until like you drop him down, and then you throw down a little 1 rushes, and they just like wreck the enemy hero. That was pretty good. This one I crafted, and I remember crafting this because it was integral to control warrior, and I wanted to play that, and so I got it to do that. Didn't really see much play with him, but again, it's Legends. Rakara is really good, especially in that sort of rush scenario. You can really get a dominating board that's hard to deal with early on. He's fine. It's just whatever. You can find him in a lot of taunt buckets now. Kargath Bladefist was a good one. I felt happy to have that as a golden. Not anymore. Thoribalor got improved, but still never saw play. This one's pretty good, but it's a slow. This is for control warrior. You just like you have a shitload of expensive things, and then you make them even more horrible, and you make them all taunts. Never really saw her have play either. Kind of a useless one. I liked this one when it came out. That was all right to play with. This was great for anytime you're getting lots of armor. This was like a good surprise attack that people often forgot about. Deep Miner Brand was just recently. Your battle cries triggered twice. Can provide some really swingy things. That was just a solid legendary for another control warrior, right? You're gonna get armor, you're getting stuff. Vezak's okay. Like you just need a lot of armor to do it. I feel like Lothar again. These are all like a bunch of things that you would have thrown into a big old warrior deck. This was important for duels early on, like a control warrior, right? This is one of my favorite warrior cards, Remoria Living Blade. That's gone. And Rakara was a pretty good one too, because you can then just whack yourself, as long as you have enough armor, you can whack yourself into your opponent's large minis and then send them into your opponent's face. This is one I got recently, never really played because it's too slow. And Rattlegore was huge in duels for a while, and then for some reason it became really slow. All right, and on to the final ones. Finley, I thought was going to suck, but it's really good for searching for those integral cards to your game. Better than Sphere of Sapience. Sphere of Sapience was great for Turtle, and that's why I crafted it. Astellar Bloodweaver has been a standout for a lot of decks. This one is just garbage. It's complete garbage that nobody ever needed to get. This is rude. You know what? So I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it because it's the last one that, because Hearthstone wanted to give it to me. Millhouse never saw play. This was great for Highlander until it got rotated out, but I crafted it because it was kind of important for every deck. This one was fine. Nobody really played it. Same with Flightmaster. Well, some people tried to kind of encourage it, but I don't know. That one was good in duels too. If you're playing Hunter, like with Death Rattle activation, wasn't bad. I think I need to get rid of Flint. I need to get rid of Flint because I'm going to forget that I can't. Goodbye. But also, like, really good one. Ambassador Phelan. Oh, I thought that was one that I got. These got for free. I got for free, eh? Look at that. I wonder if you logged on and made a new account, if you would get all these for free, if they're part of the core. Are they part of core? Or you would probably have to buy one pack and then you'd get them in retrospect. I don't know. Samuro, he was good for Rush Warrior. That was what he was used for. Any Dragon build was good for that. Ignis is great. It's nice that they gave him to everybody. Kazakus was really good as well back in the day. Just like those golems were pretty powerful. Really good for Death Rattle, Hunter. I forget why you... This was integral to Turtle. You needed that for Turtle Mage. I don't even know when I got this guy, but he's gonna go, because who cares about Murlocs? This one's... Oh, well, they're all uncraftable, so there you go. This one never really saw play. It was fine in Arena, and that was about it. I wanted to play this, but also never was worthwhile. Hey, I wasn't wrong. Okay, so if we were at 160, I've gotten 50,000 worth of legendaries crafted. Is that math right? That's a lot. Leroy back in the day was integral for Face Warlock. I think when I was playing Face Warlock, it was huge. I never really used Megatha, but I did use Moonfang. Moonfang was huge for Beast Druid. Queen of Shara was one of those that like you saw in a lot of decks because the relics were really good. Never played this. Like, your first card each turn costs 0. You die in 3 turns. There's too many ways not to win, right? Like, there's just too many ways. This card sucks. It's a gimmicky card. This is also a gimmicky card, but I think it's very funny. Everybody gets this thing, so you just get to twist what can happen. It's pretty fun, but it's only 50% chance. Well, which makes sense. So you can't like always be banking on it. This one's huge for tempo. If you had something where like you were running out of cards, that filled up your hand very quickly. Never really played with that one. Kronks, you were great. I never knew you. I mean, I did know you. Lady Prestar, well, I can't even craft her, so don't even need to talk about her. I made this one for a specific duels deck that I was playing with that I saw a lot of success with. The Beast is gone because it's really just one of the worst legendaries in the game. Theotar, when it was number 4, was so annoying and really, really integral to stealing your opponent's best cards and giving them your own crap cards. And the best is when you stole their Theotar and then you knew they couldn't get it back, whatever you took. And then you played the Theotar the next time. Keymaster Alabaster was really good for Arena. Look at that. Don't even remember you. Probably was in the mini set. Mr. Smite was huge, especially when it was a 6. You just throw that down and then some other pirates. You throw that down and you break open the pirate one. Mutinous Devourer was also like pretty clutch sometimes. It could really screw up your plans. I think we're nearing the end. Siamat. Siamat's not interesting. I thought Siamat was core. Anyway, it's just fine. That was just the mini set that happened right now. Probably too slow. I remember this one being fun, and I just wanted to. I think I made that one just because I wanted to have fun with. Oh, each third minion you play costs 0. Look at that. Never really saw play. It was a bit too slow. This was a huge one. This still is a huge one for Dragon Druid. Having a whole mitt full of treasures is good. Reno is a huge one right now. It's a really great hero that everybody can be, and it's annoying when they pop in. Oh, I didn't know that one was free. This one never really saw play. But we're at 225,000. We made it to 225,000. Alex Straza, love you. 225,000. N'Zoth, that was a good build. That was a good build for Warrior, which was drawing a bunch of different things, and then you just bring them all back to life. That was pretty huge. I don't know why Sathravar even exists still. Should be gone. This is a fun one too. It's been buffed because it used to be 10 and now it's 9. You can steal your opponents anytime when you get to steal your opponent's minis is great. Cthulhu the Shattered, this is the first one that I got for Madness of the Darkmoon Fair, and I played a lot of like Warlock Cthulhu, I think, in duels maybe. That was a good one. This is just a powerful, powerful dragon card. This has been nerfed so many times. It used to be super powerful. This, I always wanted it to be fun, but it never really saw play, unfortunately. And then when we got the Corruptors, this was all for corrupting if you were playing large, big Druid with the... So the only things we have left is our sweet little, Tigatus and our Warlock, and then our Rogues. Let's do it. We're going Scorched Earth. Scorched Earth, baby. Goodbye, Flick. Goodbye, Heist Baron. 229,000. We'll just do a quick cleanup to see if we're missing anything. No cards. No results. No results. No results. No results. No results. That's fine. You can't. Oh, Boomsday. Can I get rid of that? Will they let me get rid of this one? It will let me get rid of this. Yes. Because the other ones are core, because that's in the core set right now. Great. Okay, let's go through. We might have a couple more. Dragons. Oh, these are just going to be all Galakron, right? Yeah, and Dragonbane. Yeah, see, I did have Dragonbane, but it's in the core set right now. So, boom, that's gone too. Haha, we're finding a little bit more. Will I be able to get rid of these? No. All right, the Initiate, the Outland. Because I made these as well, and now they're in core. So let's get rid of those. 230. That's what we're going to do. These were not. 230. Okay, yeah, because I thought I might get to 250. I wondered if that was pushing it. There we go. Kiri, Chosen of Elune. Goodbye. Chosen to die. Same with you, Lux. Raxian the Redeemed. Same with you, Grand Totem Eyesore. Goodbye. Nice. And that was given to everybody. Oh yeah, baby. This is how we get our extras. Is there another one in Warlock? Brukan? No, can't get rid of Brukan, unfortunately. Nothing in Alderac Valley. And then we're on to the core sets, which, well, we've got everything in there. Sunken City, I think these were given, yeah. So I don't think I'll be able to find anything else. So I think it would have been up here. Festival of Legends, Titans, Badlands, the event, and then Whiz Bang, which is upcoming. So total Arcane Dust, 231,800 dust. Total time that it took me to do all this, approximately 5 hours. Yikes. So we're gonna finish this off. We're gonna finish this video by saying goodbye to Hearthstone and by looking at our stats. We never got it. Looking at our profile, ranked 4,000 total wins, 7,000 total wins in duels, 3,500 total wins in arena. So what's that? 12,000 games of Hearthstone. And if Hearthstone takes approximately 10 minutes for a game, let's say, that's 12,000 wins. And if Hearthstone takes approximately 10 minutes to play a game, probably 15, but let's say 10 to be conservative, 120,000 minutes, so 2,000 hours, only 2,000 hours, not 10,000 hours. I'm not perfect, not perfect yet. Yeah, so we have Mage, 1456 wins, Priest, 1423. I played a lot of Control Priest. Warlock, 1238. Feels like I played more Warlock, but that might just be within recent. Druid, 1343. Hunter, 1252. So about the same across the board, except for Shaman and except for Death Knight. I haven't even gotten to level 39 on Death Knight. Yeah, and it doesn't tell you the total games played. I don't know how you can see the total games played, but if we're operating on a 50%, if we're operating on 50%, and I probably was closer to, yeah, I was probably 50% win rate. Let's say that. So we'll double that amount of time. So about 4,000 hours, plus we didn't do battlegrounds and events and single players, so maybe 5,000. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I still, if you were playing as a completionist, these are designed to make you feel like you still have things to attain. I've attained a lot of things. Yeah. So there we go. That's going scorched earth. My collection does not exist anymore. Actually, there's still a whole crap load of stuff, but all of these are sort of free from Hearthstone. I don't know if this is an ad for Hearthstone or not. I really don't. I don't know if if this is like, hey, look at all you can do as a free-to-play player. But the thing is, there's a time pressure, right? Like you can't just do it at your own pace. In order to win, and in order like there's going to be too much stuff coming out, and so that's where the time crunch came in, and that's why I always felt compelled to keep on going back to this game. And if you feel the same, like I feel so relieved. So relieved. I'm not gonna, because what you would do, we'll just pick a legendary. Let's pick a legendary set. You know what? Let's pick a set that we haven't, completely completed. Badlands, crafting, legendary. I don't think I ever made Kingpin Pud, so I'll do it. I'll make him, right? And then I could even upgrade him. Boom, we want to upgrade him. Boom, he's upgraded. And that's already taken 3,200 gold, right? And then you got to click out of it, and then you got to go back in and disenchant, because I can disenchant now for only 1,600, right? So I've lost 1,600, and so that's what you can basically do, is just craft a bunch of stuff that you haven't crafted. See, I never crafted Reska, I never crafted Monpa, and then I can just disenchant them again, and we go through that process until we'd whittled down. Oh, yeah, hadn't created those yet. Look at this. Oh, look, we're getting our collection up, aren't we? I wonder if we are. I wonder if the numbers will have changed. I've already made all those. I've had all of those at a certain time. Actually, have I had you? Don't know. I don't even know if this is gonna like go towards the stats, but we're gonna see. Badlands Bandits definitely didn't have that. Yeah, let's see what it's like to craft in these things, to go a little bit scorched earth on it. 1, 2, Hip the Potent. Don't think I made that one. I thought I'd had you, but I guess I didn't, because I didn't disenchant it. So there we go. And there we go. Right? I know I didn't make Drilly the Kid, so we're going to do that. And then we're just going to disenchant. And you just go through, see how easy it is to just burn through this dust? That was 10,000 dust, like very simply. I now should have everything in my collection, but I bet it won't register unless I like exited it, right? So let's see. Gameplay, no, we want progression. No, we want collection. Oh, it's because you have to have them in your collection. Oh, you can't just unlock them. You actually have to have them in your collection. So my collection down here, oh, well, because I completed it. So I completed it, so it doesn't go away that I completed it. But for right now, because I don't have them in my collection, collect 20 different Badlands, I'm only at 3. Wow, that's how that works. Anyway, we got to get rid of Legendary Gary, right? Tram conductor Jerry. See ya. All right. So I'm not going to go scorched earth because I got to do other things, but I appreciate you being here. Thanks for sticking with me, and thanks for taking the time. And that's the total number, 230 something thousand of 5 years of dust. Collectible card games are meant to be addictive. They are meant to give you reasons to constantly spend your money without you realizing that you're spending so much. A lot of board games are the same. A lot of Kickstarters are the same. They want you to spend more and more. They want you to spend beyond your means, and like they want to give you stuff. Like it's not the boogeyman coming to get all your money. Like I don't feel that way. But I also think that there are a lot of models that are based upon predatory feelings, and I know that I could get in the throes of them. And like I'm a pretty strong-willed person. Like when I set my mind to doing something, I'll do it. But I also know those tendencies about myself that I can go down a rabbit hole. I think it's hand in hand, right? Like if I get obsessed with something, I get obsessed with it, and I love it, and I want all of it, and I just want to do that all the time. And I'm lucky that I'm obsessed with something right now that helps me somewhat cover costs of living and takes up my time. Yeah, just looking at that zero gold is huge. Oops, that 0 gold is huge for me right there. It really is. So just like purchase responsibly. Thanks for being here. If you ever need to know that somebody's been going through it, like I went through it, I feel really good. I feel really, really good that I'm not gonna have this pulling at my attention, or pulling as even an option, right? Sometimes you just need to eliminate it. And I'm so excited for all the other things and other games that I'm going to get to play. Anyway, I hope you found some value in this very, very long video. I mean, it's not going to be the 5.5 hours that I took doing it, but I know I talked a little bit throughout, so I'll go through and I'll edit it eventually. Maybe I'll put this out on a week as a week off week. It's not a week off. It's going to take me so long to edit. But I think hopefully it ended up being valuable. And hey, if you want me, I got so much dust. If you ever want me to create Hearthstone content on the channel, I could justify doing so. But I could justify doing it on like a, new expansion, see what the cards are until I run out of dust basis. But I'm into it. If Hearthstone players are out there and you want that to be a potential resource and you'd come back for that and you'd watch it, yeah, subscribe and comment down below. Or comment down below if this was garbage and if I should just stay in my lane and I'm a board game channel. And that also is I guess good feedback. The video is over. My name is Chris George. I do not have a catchphrase, but I have to do the things that I meant to do today. And once again, Hearthstone has taken my time for the last time. Unless, of course, you want to see more, in which case, hey, I'm a monkey that'll dance for any pennies thrown. Let me get my little symbols out and let's go. Otherwise, I hope you have a happy, healthy day. And I just want to really emphasize that, like, I'm super stubborn. I'm really, really stubborn. And I really think I'm better than some things. And maybe if this hits somebody who has that same feeling of I can stop what I want, or I don't spend too much time on this, if this helps you analyze how you spend your time and if you are enjoying that time to the full extent, again, I want people to enjoy their time to the fullest extent possible. That's my whole thing. I want your time to be the maximum fun that it can be. We don't have that much time on this planet, and it's important to spend it doing things that fill us up and fill our cup, and that we control and that don't control us. So I hope that for you. I really do. And I hope you have a wonderful day.